Welcome on in to Lakota East High School. A very special presentation here today from the home of the Thunderhawks down here in front of the Hawks Nest. It is a combined stream we have going on here, Lakota East and Lakota West doing broadcasting. Of course, as always, thank you for tuning into the stream. It is stupid the support that Lakota West Broadcasting gets, and it's due to you guys that East has branched out too. They got a broadcasting club, and it is quite phenomenal. If I do say so myself, we've had a great time working with them this week, getting this stage set up. We've got a great pregame show here for you today. So as always, I'm Nick Johnson alongside my analyst, Jordan Hauk, but I'll let these guys introduce themselves on behalf of Lakota East.
Yes, sir. I'm Colin Kunz, normal play-by-play for Lakota East. Next to me is Max Earl. He's my analyst. Excited to be here.
And, of course, Colin's going to be on the mics with us here tonight. Jordan and I will be back, but we get Colin, fortunately, for some East insight. I'm sure he's got some great things to say about this football team. They've been fun to watch. The record might not show it, only one win, unfortunately, but on paper, this team is looking pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know, it's difficult. You look at the record, like 1-5, 1-6. The team, they really have been explosive. Like, that was one of the big talking points at the beginning of the season was with Kitna coming in, both Kitnas really, coach and QB, like that explosive offense and the type of plays they'd be able to make, they have really picked that up and been able to make those plays later on in the season.
Right, and of course, Kitna, I mean, well, let's start there. That, of course, the story heading into this year for you guys. So I'll ask for your perspective, the student perspective. You've been following this team like we follow Lakota West. I'm sure you know every blade of turf on this field the way that all these football players do. So, I mean, you guys have talked to Kitna. What's your perspective on him coming in? What was the excitement like for you guys?
You know, I feel like Kitna, he really brings the energy and a good culture to this program. Everybody was excited when he came in. There was so much buzz around it towards the end of last year when he came in. Everybody was excited to have a former Bengals quarterback in here and see what he could do for the program. We've been nothing but excited to have him in here.
Of course, you have a former Bengals quarterback. I mean, the excitement from a player standpoint, that's got to be fantastic, right?
Yeah, and you know, you see it with the players. Everybody is excited and happy to be on this team. These guys love the energy that he brings and the insight that he brings. It's really incredible what he's done here.
And how about those expectations, too? I mean, he's bringing his son in at quarterback, a phenomenal quarterback, very highly ranked. I want to say high four-star, might have even cracked the 5 at one point, coming into play quarterback for Lakota East. I mean, there has to be some energy waiting for that guy to get here and then also seeing what he's done this late in the season on that football field.
Yeah, absolutely. The talk coming into the season was incredible about both of them. And, you know, you look at Jamison Kitna, the quarterback, and what he brings to this program, he's a great addition, and he filled one of that quarterback hole from Troutman last season. And he's done a great job doing it. He's been able to make those plays, use his legs effectively, and he's really been our guy all season.
Especially when you move into the Cincinnati region with John Kitna as your coach, I feel like it's kind of tough to transition from, oh, you're Kitna's son. Yeah, that's the coach's son. That's Kitna's son right there. His boy is playing quarterback, but he really is Jamison Kitna now for Lakota East, making a name for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jamison has done a great job making a name for himself because he has made those plays out there. It's not just he's Coach Kitna's son. He's just John Kitna's son. He is Jamison Kitna, and he's a starting quarterback for Thunderhawks.
So I will ask you this, though. You take a look at his numbers. Of course, he's a very solid passer through the air, almost 1,350 yards through the air, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, for a starting quarterback, you kind of hope for that ratio to be a little bit better. But also you see what he's done on the ground, 6 touchdowns through the ground as well, 200 yards rushing. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy to be able to do it all, keep the defense moving on their feet, keep them off guard. I mean, what have you seen from him as far as that goes?
Yeah, and especially that, with getting those touchdowns, he mainly gets them in the red zone. He uses that big frame. He's not built like a quarterback. He's built more like a running back or a linebacker almost. He uses that big frame. He dives in. He's not afraid to dive in through the defense. He's ready to jump into the end zone. And in addition to that, he's not afraid to use his legs to escape the pressure. And he's done a great job doing that, especially with the subpar offensive line we've had so far this season.
So, Jordan, I'll ask you this. I mean, we've seen how West can kind of counter that rushing attack from quarterback so far. And then also, he got Ryder hooks on the ground for the Thunderhawks tonight. And that's going to be a challenge in and of itself. Almost 800 yards on the ground this season, 4 touchdowns. So what do you think we're going to see from this defense, the star of this Lakota West team, to kind of control that offense tonight?
Yeah, it starts with the D-line, Nick. I mean, it's everything comes from that D-line. They swallow those plays up. They're going to get a lot of inside zone, a lot of run plays up the middle tonight. And it's going to start with Eli. It's going to start with Jonas, and it's got to start with Gabriel Flores. I mean, they were really the key to this game tonight because they're going to get a lot of run plays, and it's just up to them to really get the momentum going, and hopefully this defense can stop the plays on the ground.
And, of course, East, not just a ground team as well. Like I said, Kitna, all those yards he has to be thrown to somebody. And East has got an incredible receiving duo, Zion Neal and Andy Vogelman. Both of those guys, incredible athletes, lots of touchdowns, lots of yards combined.
Yeah, absolutely. Both have been able to make the plays. You look at Zion Neal with the explosiveness. He catches the ball. A lot of time he catches it in the flat, but he's able to take it and explode out, pick up 10, 20, 30 yards, and he's done a great job of that all season.
Yeah, of course, and Mike Dyer had a great feature on him, a great article the other day. I believe it came out towards the end of last week, so if you haven't had the chance to go check that out, check it out. I mean, he's an incredible athlete, incredible kid, and East is lucky to have him on that football field.
Yeah, we absolutely are. He's done such a great job this season.
So I'll ask you from a defensive perspective. We haven't really talked a lot about the East defense yet. We know what this West offense is, and we can dive more into that in a second, but what has been the strength for this team on defense?
Yeah, this defense has been good, but they have really struggled against the run, and that's kind of a big issue coming into this game. West is pretty good at the run, so if they're going to have any shot here at stopping this offense, they're going to have to work out those holes that they have stopping the run.
So what's their option defense like? What's that looking like? Because we know West, especially as of late, bringing Sam Wiles into the quarterback game, an option has been a big part of their offense. Have you guys seen a lot of option teams this year?
We've seen a few, but really we've just struggled at stopping any kind of run, and the option will probably be even more of a challenge for us with more variables coming into play. So it'll be tough to stop them, but hopefully they've made changes this week and are able to do that.
So, of course, that's one weakness right there, but, I mean, this Lakota East team, as we mentioned on paper, a pretty solid lineup you got going on there. And before the year, especially with bringing in Kitna, everything seemed good. You pick up one win this year against the Coleraine Cardinals. I think everyone's wondering the same thing. Why isn't this East team winning more football games? What's your guys' breakdown on that?
You know, it's hard to say because, like you said, if you look at it on paper, all of the aspects are there. This team could be a great football team. It's just the self-driven mistakes that have cost the team like exponentially. Because you look at secondary is another big part, and that's a place the Thunderhawks have gotten burned. They've been doing a lot of movement back there, moving guys around, trying to find a fit that works, but they really can't find one, and they've been passed over the top quite a few times, gotten some big touchdowns from other teams on those types of plays specifically.
And it's hard to believe it already. I mean, we are in week 8, so playoff implications are very real, and we're going to break down a bunch of the GMC games here tonight. Do you feel a heavy playoff implication on this game coming into a rival, not just to move up in the standings and pick up a win, but also because it's Lakota West, you get the energy and the momentum going forward for the final 2 weeks of the season ahead?
Yeah, I absolutely think that. I think that a win here is crucial for the Thunderhawks if they want to make a playoff push. I think that getting a win here would greatly increase the morale on the team, and it would do wonders for them.
And, of course, Oak Hills and Mason coming up. West has seen Oak Hills. Oak Hills, a solid football team, but last week a heavy blowout, 59-7 in favor of the Firebirds. So looking forward to that game. You think getting that momentum under your belt, you think we could see a big win? I don't want to call it an upset because Oak Hills only has one more win than the Thunderhawks do, but, I mean, that could be a big opportunity.
Yeah, and I think it could. I think going into Oak Hills, if they get a win tonight, they'll have the confidence to approach that game correctly. And I think they'll be able to really – they're playing here, so I think they'll be able to come here and win that game. And looking forward towards Mason, you know, Mason's had some struggles too this season. I think that is a winnable game too for Thunderhawks.
And, of course, it's great to be back here at home. You know, you always talk about the energy with East-West. Everybody at this game is incredible right now. The stands are packed. It's only, 6-something. And it is absolutely rocking right now.
Yeah, there it is.
There it goes. Right on cue. But there's also a little bit of extra energy tonight for senior night as well. So, I mean, with all of that combined, you got to think that blood is pumping in the veins of those East guys. They got to be ready to run out on this turf tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely think that's true. And the amount of noise that this stadium can bring when they're all on their feet, getting loud, that goes to the team as well. Getting loud on third downs for West will be crucial for the fans tonight, and I think that'll greatly help our defensive guys.
Of course, and we're just getting started here. Games, we still got a little while, about 50 minutes until kickoff here. We're going to take a quick step aside. We'll be right back with the remainder of the pregame show. Lots more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Are we good? I'm going to hope we're good. from Lakota East High School here in front of the Hawks Nest. Very, very fun atmosphere back here. Of course, East-West rivalry. Everyone says they hate each other. I don't feel any hatred at all. I mean, this is the best you could ask for, a great atmosphere behind this show.
Yeah, absolutely. So exciting. Big shout out to our student section here. Good on them for pulling up. They've absolutely knocked it out of the park here tonight.
And, of course, we are joined here tonight by Lakota East Student Broadcasting. If you have not checked them out already, go do that. They're fantastic. Go listen to their stuff. We're here with them tonight, getting them out there. It's their first year of operation, but I mean, they're already fantastic. It took us way too long to get going. You should have seen our East game last year. It was a little rough. You guys got lucky this year. I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, everything just kind of fell into place. You know, we got to give a shout out to Wes for helping us get there. A lot of communication between the two clubs. It's been nothing but love, and they've done a great job getting us set up so we can broadcast our games this year.
Of course, this week has been very fun getting all this set up as well. We were putting together a big old stage before the show that you got set up last night. It's been a very fun process.
Yeah, absolutely. Building the stage, totally worth it. You know, we're up. We get to be even with our student section, get them going, get them riled up, have them in our background. So definitely worth it there building those stage pieces.
All right, well, we got a breakdown graphic for you, getting ready to go. Let's show the crowd here a little bit about these Thunderhawks. A lot of, I don't want to say unknowns about this team, but what we were just talking about before, the paper and the field hasn't necessarily translated. So take us through your keys to the game tonight.
Yeah, so I think our first key is to run the ball. You know, we got Ryder Hooks there. He is leading the GMC in rushing. He's been that power back all year. He's been amazing. He has the explosiveness as well, the speed. He gets into open space, and he's gone. He's done it numerous times this year. He gets away, he gets going, and he is just so fast.
Yeah, and another thing really is protecting our quarterback. When Kitna can step back and take his time, he can really force that ball downfield, and most of those turnovers have come when Kitna's under pressure, and it would have been more of a shutout against Colerain even if they would have stopped that pressure, forced a fumble, and almost touchdown. So,
yeah, I think protecting Kitna is huge. You got to give him time to throw the ball. He has the wide receivers to do it. He has Vogelman. He has Neal. If he can get that ball downfield, this Thunderhawk offense can be absolutely explosive.
I do got to ask, I mentioned it earlier, that 8-to-5 touchdown interception ratio. It's not what you expect from a quarterback like Kitna. I mean, he's been fantastic otherwise in every other stat category. So what do you think the cause is for that ratio?
Like Max said over here, it really is that he just hasn't had time to get the ball downfield. He really just is pressured to get those throws, and he is an extremely accurate quarterback. We've seen him put it into some really tight windows, but when there are guys coming on both sides of him because the line can't block for him, he has to rush those decisions, and that's what leads to the interceptions.
All right, great insight.
I think one of our other keys tonight is going to be force the turnovers. This Thunderhawk defense needs to absolutely step up, and they really need to do it here against this West offense.
yeah, for sure. Really not a lot in the turnover category at all yet this year, and those would be huge for East to get more opportunities because their offense has kind of struggled to finish off drives so far this year. I think another big key here also is taking those deep shots. Like I said, Kittner has really not had that much time to throw this year, and when he does have that time, he can really get it deep. He's got great receivers out there, Zion Neal and Andy Vogelman. So really it's kind of up to that offensive line again just to be able to make plays for East.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, getting those deep shots is going to be key for this offense, those big explosive plays. But the Thunderhawks also need to think about it. They need to keep it slow. They can't let this West offense, who's picked it up recently, get chances on the ball. The Thunderhawks did it very effectively against Princeton, but we really haven't seen it much since. If the Thunderhawks are able to control that time of possession, they do a great job of not letting the other team get the ball, and that plays in their favor.
Yeah, for sure. And also taking it slow, finishing off those drives. They haven't really been able to do that yet this year. And I think finishing off those drives also comes with finding the end zone, which they have struggled with a little bit this year. Their offense has been great at getting yards, but not that many touchdowns. Really middle of the pack in the GMC so far, and if they could get that stat up, they could definitely be a dangerous team.
Yeah, and now we want to talk about West. We mentioned it a little bit earlier with the offense. We know they had some struggles early in the season. What has changed and how they improved?
Yeah, so, and I'll let Jordan speak to this a little bit as well, because the quarterback situation has been very interesting. The plan, to my knowledge, all throughout that offseason, or at least the number one choice throughout that offseason was the freshman quarterback, Jackson Smith. And I think it was only finalized a few weeks before the season started, but everyone seemed to know, like, this is the guy. Bolden likes this kid. He's a freshman. He's got potential. I mean, he's a highly recruited quarterback. He's the number one quarterback in his class already. And when you have that as a freshman, that's great. So I think the mindset there was to kind of try and build Mitch Bolden 2.0, try and get what you had last year. Obviously, it's different transitioning from your son for 4 years to just, I don't want to call him another freshman kid, because I mean, everyone in this West system, that West development system is really tight through the Tomahawks all the way up through junior high, and then you get to the high school level. So I mean, everyone knows each other. So this kid coming up, he was special. St. X was an interesting game in that I don't remember the exact number on first downs in that game, but I want to say it was low single digits, and it seemed like, okay, maybe it was the St. X defense, and then you get to week 2 against Princeton, and now that's a game that's coming back to haunt the Firebirds, because now that's GMC title. That could be the deciding factor. So now you're relying on a Princeton loss, but it was a very similar story. And while the offense did better, a lot of that was bringing in Sam Wiles, the junior quarterback, seeing what he can do, and he's an option guy. And Bolden, he's an option coach. I mean, you look back at the old Coleraine days, it's all triple option. It's what he does, it's what he knows. So I think to that extent, bringing in Sam Wiles is what they needed, and it's worked so far. Week 3 against Fairfield, going to Fairfield, I mean, that was a fantastic offensive explosion. So I think they've just found their rhythm. They found what works for them play calling wise. And, Jackson Smith, especially in the interception category, hasn't been hot all year. But I think it'll be useful for him to get more experience under his belt, work with Sam Wiles, building around the offense that Bolden wants on this team. And then, next year, Sam Wiles, I mean, his senior year is his senior year, but Jackson Smith will definitely get at least more time, I think. And then down the road, I think he's West guy.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said everything. I mean, Jackson Smith is I call him a developing project, and to throw him in a game against St. X, his first high school game, and he's a hyped up recruit, a lot of pressure on your back to make the plays, and it just didn't work out right. And Sam is, as you said, he's a dual threat quarterback, and I can't remember a time when West didn't have a dual threat quarterback. Mitch Bowen, and man, I can't think of his name. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of his name, the previous quarterback. But these are dual threat guys. These are guys that are going to attack on the ground and that are going to attack through the air. And Sam's done a really good job. He stepped up. He was never really a name that was fighting for the starting job. Really, I mean, it was between those three quarterbacks, and Nolan Parker, Jackson Smith, and Sam Wiles. But he was never really a guy that was favored. And he stepped up and he took the role and he made it happen. I mean, he's killing it this year. He's accepted and embraced that captain role on the offense, even though he's not listed as a captain. But I mean, there's nothing else you can say other than he's just stepped up and killed it on the offensive side. He's really been the field general for the West offense.
And I guess sticking with that offensive picture, a big part of that too has been the run game, especially early in the season when you're struggling with that run. Struggling with the pass rather, struggling with Jackson Smith. You bring in the run. And Junior Gonzalez has always been a fantastic back for Lakota West. I call him the Cameron Good type, one of those human bowling balls that you can just run up the middle every time. Yeah. But then we've also seen the breakout of one sophomore that you are very familiar with, Braden Johnson.
Yeah, my guy, Braden Johnson. I mean, there's nothing much else you can say other than he's pretty electric. I mean, the 1-2 duo, 1-2 punch in the backfield is one of my favorite I've ever seen because it's just so different, I mean, you got a guy in Junior who can just barrel you over, and he's a strong guy. He's a fullback type player. He's a guy that's going to run up the middle and got to get at least 3-4 yards, whether that's with an offensive push or not, or offensive line push or not. But Braden Johnson, he's just a lightning bolt. I mean, he does everything. He'll juke you. He'll run right through you. He'll give you a stiff arm. I mean, that's his favorite move for sure. Has been that stiff arm. I've seen a couple of good ones this year on varsity and on JV. He's also another young guy that stepped up and has embraced that role. He may not be getting 100% of the snaps, but the snaps that he is getting and the drives that he's limited to, he's really making it happen. And he's definitely a huge part of this success for the West offense to this point in the season.
All right, what else can we do for you? What else do Hawks fans want to know before this game?
I think one of the big points, something West has always been good at, that defense. Let's talk about that defense for a second.
Colin, this is why I love you. Bring in the burning questions.
Oh, yeah.
That defense, we can talk about them all day.
I can talk about them all day.
No, we can both talk about them all day. I mean, you look at this team last year, you look at what they lost, and I think it was hard to say coming into the season, this defense is going to be the same. This is going to be the West defense we've seen year in, year out. Have we seen a bad defense in the Bolden era? You lose Ben Minnick, you lose Hartford, you lose Fussell, you lose all these guys. But I think the beauty of what high school football is, what it's supposed to be, and then also I think it's the beauty of having that known, respected personality at coach in Coach Bolden is that you bring in a lot of these guys for depth, a lot of the youth who sit behind these D1 guys that are going to Ohio State. I mean, how many Ohio State names has West had? Jair Brown and Malik Hartford on defense.
Yeah, Hartford recently.
Obviously Tegra on the offense. I mean, he's great too, and he did play nose tackle there for a little while. So technically, 3 guys all in there on defense. So you got these young guys coming in behind him. I mean, Finn Mason in there at safety. I don't think he was a name that was necessarily jumping off the paper before the year, but I mean, he has had a very respectable year at safety because I think I would assume in large part because he's been working with those guys. And then you take a look, especially that defensive front, Elijah Davis, Gabe Flores. I mean, those guys have been here. They've been in the starting game for a while. They have that experience, and I think the experience is what's causing them to be absolute wrecking balls against some of these GMC offensive lines. So I think it was just very well put together over the past few years. It's a systematic thing at this point. And I think even after this year, when you lose a couple of those names, I have a hard time believing that the West defense is going to struggle to come back to what it has been, what it was. I think it's here to stay.
Yeah, and I'll speak to that. I think Bolden has just done a great job. That shows the skill in his coaching and why he's at West, and why he's doing such a great job at West. He gets those guys, he develops them, and he's able to have good defenses year in, year out. We saw a good defense last year. Some guys graduated. We see a good defense this year. That just speaks to his coaching and him developing those players, like you said.
And what's weird to me, I'm going to sound like an old person saying this, but high school football really has become a lot more kind of like the realm of college football these days. Obviously, no NIL, but I mean, as far as like the transfer portal almost, and you see a lot of guys who want to play for Bolden just because what Bolden can do for the guy. Even if you're sitting on the bench, I mean, a lot of the bench guys are getting looked at by college coaches just for coming up in that system, which I think is another reason to say, like, hey, this defense, it's a systematic thing. You play for those coaches, you're going to know what you're doing at the D1 level.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you bring up the prospect of that transfer portal because you talked about Elijah Davis earlier. He actually was with East for a long time. He was in 7th and 8th grade. He was tearing it up at those LJS games. He was good out there. He's that good defensive line. Everybody was excited to get him at the high school, and then he made the decision to go join Bolden at West.
Yeah, and it's been the same with a lot of these guys. I mean, one of my favorite examples of anything like that, and I love both these guys. I mean, the Bennie-Powell brothers, LeBron Bennie-Powell, of course, fantastic player for Lakota East basketball last year. He's a year ahead, so he graduated, but we did cover him last year, and he was incredible to watch. And then his brother Tabron, who's we haven't even mentioned his name, another great defensive name, going to join the Notre Dame Irish. I mean, I saw some pictures of some visits he took earlier today. I mean, kid looks great in the blue and gold. What can I say? He's going to be fantastic up there in South Bend because he went through this defense.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff that he's there in South Bend. He gets those opportunities. You look at Hartford, too, with that. Bolden prepares these guys for the next level. These guys are ready to do it. Hartford has gotten a little time at Ohio State, and I'm certain that Bennie-Powell will get some time at Notre Dame just because of how much Bolden is able to get these guys used to the next level.
And I don't think it's any coincidence either. I mean, a couple of Ohio State guys, a couple of Notre Dame guys, it's those big college coaches that they have the relationship with Bolden there. I'm sure there are eyes on every Lakota West game week in, week out, regardless of who the opponent is, just because of Coach Bolden and some of the guys he's got out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Bolden does a great job just getting everybody to look at his team. The outreach is just important as on the play field. Getting those Twitter connections, reaching out to coaches, that's important because that's how you make the connections with those college coaches and gets you ready to get those offers and get those visits set up.
So, of course, we were talking about Kitna and his offers earlier. Who are some of the other key college players or some future Saturday guys that we can be looking at here for tonight at Lakota East?
We talked about Kitna. I think looking forward to the future, he's just a sophomore, but Ryder Hooks, I think that he'll have a great opportunity to get those looks for the next level, especially with the timing Kitna coming in, Coach Kitna, because he is also pushing that. He understands the value of social media and contacting other coaches. I am certain that Hooks will have that same outreach as him.
And I know we were talking about this the other day, Kitna coming in and kind of redoing the Twitter, redoing everything, trying to build like his own brand here at Lakota East to get a lot of these guys a little bit of hype. And I appreciate what he's doing. He's been a fantastic coach so far. I got no complaints.
Yeah, absolutely. And that plays to his on the field and off the field coaching because both are just as important as each other, especially moving on to that next level.
I mean, I don't know how many more times I can say it tonight. You can't look at the records coming into this game. I mean, between the momentum and then everything we keep talking about on paper, East has the talent. I think sometimes it takes a little bit different factors every week to get it clicking. I think East-West, that's a factor. I think we're going to see some clicking here tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Tonight is a night the Thunderhawks need to rile it up. They've done it. We've seen it. We saw it earlier against Coleraine. Not the best opponent, but the Thunderhawks showed improvement. And last week at Sycamore is a strong team. The Thunderhawks held their own against them. Thunderhawks did a great job there. Tonight, I could potentially see Thunderhawks piece it all together and come out swinging against this West team.
Yeah, and Jordan, and I know one of your keys to this game was West has to come out and they have to get on top, and they have to get on top big and early. Are you playing to the momentum there? How much of a difference do you think that's going to make, especially in the first quarter?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's all about firepower and these big plays that they're gonna try to complete early. They're gonna try to get on top early. They're gonna try to stay on top, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see what this offensive game plan brings, because in a rivalry game like this, you never know what could happen. You can see a flea flicker on the first play of the game, but I don't think we're gonna be seeing that. But it's always exciting to watch these offensive game plans in a rivalry game like this.
So these first drives obviously going to be very big for East then to combat that. So what do you think Kitten is going to draw up on this first drive? You think they're running off a script? You think they're going to play it by ear, kind of by looking at the defense, reading some stuff there? I mean, how do you think they're going to come out and start?
I think they go explosive. I mean, we saw it a couple weeks ago against Coleraine too. They were explosive early, and when they can get a lead, they're able to kind of keep it, but I think it really just starts with getting a lead, because West has just been so good. That defense, once they get the lead, they do not give it up. And after those first two losses, they've just had so much momentum. I think if East can't get the lead here early, I think it's kind of over for them.
And so I think going along with that, if Kitna draws up that onside kick, if they have to kick it away first, that's something we've seen a couple of times. Will he think about it enough to go for it here in this rivalry game?
I mean, today would be the day, right? And anything can happen in these games, and I think it makes it fun to watch. It makes it fun to call. We're going to be up in the booth, and I apologize if I blow your eardrums out in the process. But, I mean, any game like this is always fun. But I do want to go back to last week for the Thunderhawks, 38-30 at Sycamore. So that game close. What do you think was the deciding factor in that game? What made it so close, and why didn't the Thunderhawks pull away there?
I really think at the end, the Thunderhawks ran out of gas, which is why Sycamore kind of amped it up. And that's something we've seen a couple of times this season. The Thunderhawks look good early in the first half, early in the second half, but after that, it kind of tapers off. And that's exactly what we saw against Sycamore. They just really could not bring it together in the fourth quarter, and that's where they lost the game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the later stages like that that really determine the game as a whole. I mean, all of football comes down to a select few plays every game. That's an old saying that's been thrown around a lot, but I think here tonight, especially that execution in those later stages, it's going to determine a lot, like you said.
Yeah, I absolutely think that it will.
Well, we are approaching the end of our pregame here, so we're going to take a quick step aside. We'll be right back and taking a look around the GMC, some of the games tonight. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us.
Give you a quick.
All right, we are back with the finale here on our pregame show, True College Game Day style. Taking a few picks around the GMC, and we mentioned it before, a little bit of playoff implication coming into this week. It's hard to believe already. I mean, high school's only been in session for hardly 8 weeks, and here we are, East-West football sometimes like last year when it happens at the beginning of the year, it doesn't feel the same to me. It's the late in the year ones that really feel like the true rivalry.
Absolutely, yeah. That's really when you get into it because this game actually means something, especially for both teams. This game is as big as it can be.
All right, well, let's take a look around the GMC. First game, the Chicago Bears able to get their first win last night. So the Coleraine Cardinals probably thinking a little why not us right now as they travel to Hamilton tonight. We'll start with you, Jordan Hauk. Who's winning there, Coleraine Hamilton?
Man, I've got Hamilton big. I didn't see too much from Coleraine to really give them a fighting chance, so I've got Hamilton big.
Mentioning what I just said, I mean, Coleraine winless on the year, but going back and touching on something I said about East, I mean, big playoff implication week, and if you're Coleraine, I think it's a must-win game. I think you call it that because the way the the playoffs work, I mean, only a select few teams miss the playoffs every year, but Coleraine, you're not going to have a shot without a win. I mean, there were 3 teams that didn't make it in last year. 1 team was winless. I don't think there's a possible way to get in, quite honestly, without a win. So you got to hope to beat Hamilton. Obviously, Hamilton, a top team in the GNC. They're tied with West right now at second. I don't think Coleraine can pull it off. I think they need to. I'm going Hamilton.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I really can't add much more on that one. Coleraine hasn't been doing it all year. Hamilton has been doing it. Hamilton takes this one easily.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with all of us here. I just think that Hamilton's defense is so good and Coleraine's offense has struggled so much, I don't see them getting in this game at all.
All right, well, let's stick with another big GMC rivalry game tonight. Sycamore at Mason, 2 very evenly matched teams, both 4-2 in the GMC, 4-3 out of conference. So, Jordan, who you got there, Sycamore and Mason?
That's a tough one, I like both teams. I know both sides really well, but I think I'm gonna have to go Mason. My gut says Mason just because they're a fundamental team. They're always in the nitty-gritty games, and they always seem to pull it out every time. So I'm going with the Mason Comets.
I'm going to say Sycamore here. I mean, Eugene Harney is their offense. I think if Mason can shut that down, that's going to be a big factor. But also, big rivalry game like this, home team automatically gains 3 points. Pretty torn. Like I said, I think Mason has the edge because they know Eugene Harney's going to get that football. But between that and the home field, I just got to go Comets here.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be the contrarian here.
Ooh.
Both of these teams have been strong, but I like Sycamore. They have that offensive firepower. Like you talked about Harney. I think that he can be their guy, and he can get it done for Sycamore.
And we're going to college game day. Not so fast, my friend.
I'm going to have to go with Mason here. I just think that they have the bigger win streak. They have more momentum coming into this game, and I just got a gut feeling. I feel like Mason's just going to pull this one off.
All right, another, I don't want to call it a super huge game here as far as standings go, but Fairfield and Oak Hills. Oak Hills, only a 2-win team in the GMC. Fairfield, a 1-win team, but still a big week for both of these teams. I mean, I don't think we can say it enough. Playoffs coming up. So as far as the GMC seeding goes, it is still a big game. So Fairfield, Oak Hills, who you got, Jordan?
I'm probably going to go Fairfield just because Oak Hill's quarterback play. Don't really have a quarterback right now, a set quarterback. We saw 3 of them, and 2 of them were converted from last week. So, I'm going to have to go Fairfield just by a little bit, though, just by a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. What we saw from Oak Hills, obviously struggling with injury right now. Fairfield, I think they're more established. You have Talon Fisher. You know your system. It is at Oak Hills, but I just think Fairfield is going to be well coached tonight. I think the Indians take it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with both of you there. It is a far travel at Oak Hills, but I think Fairfield does have those points. Talon Fisher especially, he obviously has had that run game for a long time and has recently picked up in the pass game. I think Fairfield takes it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you guys. I think Fairfield takes this one too. I just don't see Oak Hill's offense doing enough to even stay in this game, so I'm going to go Fairfield.
All right, and a big game at the top of the GMC, Middletown-Princeton. Obviously, the Firebirds keeping an eye on that one. Scoreboard watching here tonight. Who you got, Jordan?
I'm going to go Princeton. I'll go Princeton.
Princeton, I never really saw them after they beat West. I didn't see them necessarily winning out to finish the year. And they have struggled a little bit more as of late, but I don't see them I don't see Middletown beating the Vikings here tonight. I think the Vikings stay undefeated in the GMC.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Princeton, kind of a shocker how well they've been doing this season. Middletown, a decent team as well, but I think Princeton does take this one.
Yeah, I think Princeton takes this one just because of that defense, and Middletown has had struggles on offense, so I think that Princeton takes advantage of that and they come out with a win.
All right, well, we got one more. I think we all know what it is.
Man.
West taking on the Thunderhawks in the Hawks Nest. Who you got, Jordan?
Oh, man. I'm gonna have to stick with the hometown. I'm going west. I'm sorry, I gotta go west.
I'll tell you what, you take a look at this crowd behind us here. I mean, it's a fantastic student section. You mentioned how loud it gets here. I think West is carrying a lot of momentum after their win last week, and I think, as you mentioned, defense, I mean, I think they'll be ready to counter whatever East is going to throw at them because I do believe East is going to start this game pretty aggressively, and I got to think West is prepared for it. I'm going to say they hold the lead. West wins it.
Yeah, you know, I'm a hometown guy here with the Thunderhawks, and I'm going to stay true with the Thunderhawks. We were talking about it earlier. They've just been trying to figure it out. Tonight's the night they figure it out, and the best night than ever, they take it against the Firebirds.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my team here too. I think East pulls it off. I think this rivalry gives this team more momentum, and I think this is finally the year that East finally beats West, and this is a great statement game for Kitna just to show how much he has turned this organization around.
All right, well, we appreciate you for sticking with us here on this Lakota West Student Broadcast, also a partnered broadcast here tonight with Lakota East Student Broadcasting. Go check them out. Give them the love they deserve. They are absolutely fantastic, and we could not be more excited to not only do this pregame show, but we're also headed up to the booth right now. Colin going to join me and Jordan on the call as we hopefully call a fantastic GMC football game. So we will see all of you up in the booth in just a few moments. And we are live from the Hawks Nest here in Liberty Township, Ohio, Lakota East High School. It feels oddly like a home game. We were just talking about it up in the booth, but alas, the Firebirds taking the road here against our district rival, and we are proud to bring you this stream in partnership with Lakota East Student Broadcasting. So, as always, I'm Nick Johnson alongside the man, Jordan Hauk, but we also have the man from the Lakota East Student Broadcasting Group, their play-by-play man, Colin Kunz. Colin, how are you doing, and how are we feeling about this game?
I am thrilled. I am excited to be here. I appreciate you guys having me on. Excited to call this game. We're in for a good one tonight.
Well, Jordan, we are getting ready for this kickoff here, but we didn't get a chance to hear your keys to the game and pregame due to time. So you want to run us through a few quickly here as we kick this one off and away?
Yeah, I'll get you real quick right here. First things first, it's a rivalry game, obviously. I mean, this is the energy is unmatched. I mean, it doesn't really matter what the records are on both sides. The energy is unmatched. You can see the East jumping up and down and West jumping up and down. I mean, it's just a fun atmosphere and a fun game. Too bad we couldn't bring you the Hauk breakdown graphic, which is my favorite. But yeah, that's just the one thing I really wanted to touch on before we get this thing rolling.
You did get the Kunz breakdown in the pregame, and you would know better than anyone how is this East team feeling. We talked about it a little bit in the pregame. Only one win on the season. You know they want this football game.
Yeah, they absolutely do. The Thunderhawks need to win this one, especially for the playoff implications ahead. This game would just mean so much to them.
Well, the kickoff booted back into the end zone by Braden Benner. The Thunderhawks coming out at the 20-yard line, and a very interesting matchup awaits us here. The man in number 4 in black and white tonight, Jamison Kitna, the first-year East quarterback on the move from Texas with his father, John Kitna, who of course the former Bengals quarterback, now head coach of the Lakota East Thunderhawks. Should be an interesting matchup to see him against this West defense here tonight.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. Thunderhawks here, Kitna coming out there. Thunderhawks get the chance with the ball first. Let's see what they can do here.
Kitna takes the shotgun, looks to throw here. Able to dump it off to his man on the left. It's Ryder Hooks. Star running back for the Hawks. Pushes for the first down marker. And an easy first play, first down gain for the Lakota East Thunderhawks. How about that athlete in Ryder Hooks?
Yeah, and there's the explosiveness from, you can see he caught it almost straight across from Jamison, but then he caught that ball, took it forward, picked up nearly 10 on the play.
Oh yeah, they did call him out of bounds, I believe, about 2 yards in front of those chains. It looked like from our perspective he might have got it, but we'll see a little bit of a generous spot there for the Firebirds as the Hawks line it up here, second and short. And moving down this field early and efficiently is going to be a big key to this game for the Thunderhawks. So we'll see Hooks in the backfield here, Kitna under center. Play action handoff, Kitna on the boot, rolls right, throws across the middle, and it is caught. An unbelievable snag for Andy Vogelman to officially pick up the first down and keep those Thunderhawks on the move.
Yeah, phenomenal catch there by Vogelman. We've seen him do that a couple times this year. The sliding catch, Kitna was rolling out, so that wasn't a super accurate pass, but Vogelman was able to bring it in and get a first down for Thunderhawks.
And another receiver out there for East tonight who should be fun to keep an eye out is Zion Neal, who, of course, we're 2 plays in, haven't seen him yet, but we're definitely going to see him at some point here tonight.
Yeah, and Neal, he'll bring, like we talked about pregame, Neal will bring the explosiveness, just a matter of when he'll bring it.
Kitna hands it off to Hooks here, cuts right. Jonas Griffith, the nose tackle, to wrap him up there. A little bit of assistance, and Hooks brought down about 5 yards into the play. 2nd and 5 on the way for the Thunderhawks. Jordan, what have you seen from this West defense so far, and how do they need to adjust to stop this moving Thunderhawks offense?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, East is coming out swinging, that's for sure. I mean, it's all up to West to get settled in, and you know, we're pretty early in the game to tell what's going to happen, but we just got to get settled in defensively.
Kitna able to find Neal here, makes a push for midfield. Not quite sure he got that first down. Looks like he'll be about a yard shy. But the Thunderhawks continue to move here, 3rd and short. What do you think they're going to draw up with all the options they have open?
You know, we can see a lot of things here. It's 3rd and short, but the Thunderhawks aren't afraid to throw it on 3rd and short. But I think they'll go with Hooks up the middle here. Hooks has been their guy. He's been efficient, especially only if they need 2 yards.
They'll line up in the backfield here. Kitna once again taking to center. Firebirds have that powerful defensive front, and it looks like we will get a flag. That was Eli Davis begging for that false start, and it looks like he's going to get it. Turn 3rd and 2 into 3rd and 7.
Yeah, and we've seen that a couple of times from this offensive line for the Thunderhawks. They've had a couple of false starts, haven't been super strong, but if they can get it under control, I think they can provide some protection for Kitna.
And discipline should be interesting to watch tonight. West got a little bit better against Oak Hills last week, but you take a look at all the holding penalties, both offensively, defensively, and just all over the field. A little bit of a discipline problem. And to play a rival like this, you got to keep it clean. Kitten to throw. He's going to try to scramble outright. Cuts it back to the left. Easy scramble for the first down. Out of bounds about 4 yards into Firebird territory there. Kitten keeps the ball moving.
He runs out of bounds, but not before he...
Yeah, you talked a little bit about discipline there coming from the Firebirds, and that would be one of the big things, because something we've seen from Kitten this season is his hard count. He is very effective with that. Being in a quarterback family, he knows how to do that hard count and has gotten teams to jump multiple times this season. We'll see if he uses it here against the Firebirds.
Yeah, you mentioned it there, that connection. It's always great to have a former NFL quarterback as your quarterback's coach, especially at home, as we'll see him take to the air here again. Fires deep down the field, looks for Zion Neal, nearly picked off. That would have been a close one, but it will be a dropped interception for Bukhari Miles on that right sideline.
Yeah, just that was man-to-man coverage right there. Ball was a little underthrown. He had him on a couple steps, but ball was just a hair underthrown, and luckily that wasn't picked on a 50-50 ball like that. Usually, Bukhari's going to get one of those, and we'll see what they can draw up here on 2nd and long.
And you call it 50-50. It was true 50-50. Both guys had a hand on that one, any of those high-point passes. It's tough to decide where that ball's going to go, especially when you have two athletes going up for it like that. We'll see a 5-wide look here for Kitna, who's out in the shotgun. Kitna, a lot of options through the air on this team. Throws to the left sideline. It is incomplete, flag out on the play.
Yeah, Kitna just got a little bit ahead of himself on that one. He just tried to put it into a window that wasn't there for the receiver.
See what this flag is. We keep talking about it early here. Discipline already seemingly the story. Was thrown at the line of scrimmage. Haven't got a call here from the officials.
Illegal formation on the offense. Penalties declined.
Illegal formation, that one's going to cost you, especially on a drive where you're already moving. Dakota West will elect to decline the penalty here, though. 3rd and 10 up and coming for Kitna.
Yeah, on these third downs, Halls likes to bring the house. He's going to bring the pressure right here. He's usually sending Grant Bierman or Micah Markley, one of those two inside guys, nearly every play, and they really rely on him or rely on the guys to get home because they play a lot of soft shell coverage. So look for a lot of pressure right here, especially on 3rd and long.
Kitna once again almost definitely taking to the air here, and shotgun drops to throw. Pressure up the middle from Elijah Davis forces Kitna to run with it. To the left, penalty flag down in the backfield again. As it stands, Kitna will not have that first down. We'll see what the call on the field is.
Like you talked about, that pressure there, West brought it, and Kitna felt very rushed on that one. He had to roll out, take off with his feet, didn't quite get there. We'll check the flag.
And it looks like East going to be moving back on this one. I would be willing to bet probably a hold on a broken play.
I think you're right, Nick.
Holding offense number 24, 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
Well, there's Ryder Hook's name again, this time not in such a great context, a costly holding penalty there. The Hawks now looking at a 3rd and 20.
Yeah, unfortunate there. We've seen quite a few holding penalties actually from this offensive line, but I think they can get it under control and work things forward.
And an interesting call too, not to decline that penalty. It would have been 4th and 2. Playing maybe the field position game here. Now Kitna will have another shot on 3rd and 20. Play action pass. Asbeck with a lot of pressure there on that right side. A flag thrown. Bukhari nearly able to tip that ball. Zion Neal unable to come up with it. Gotta wonder what that flag is. I mean,
It's going to be holding.
I know it could be holding on that broken play. It almost had me a little concerned there.
Holding offense number 24.
It is another holding.
Decline. 4th down.
I know we saw it a little bit earlier in the season. Anytime you see a guy go low at a quarterback's ankles, technically not supposed to do it, doesn't get called a lot. But I feel like that one could have gone either way. It ends up moving the Hawks back. This one is declined, 4th and 20.
Yeah, unfortunate there, and Hooks was immediately questioning that penalty, but that's what the rest called.
4th down in front formation.
Back deep for the Firebirds. It will be Brennan Remy, number 1 in the alternate speckled white uniforms for the Firebirds tonight. Only the 2nd time we've seen the new alternates back out, or at least a new version. As this low snap there on the punt, Tabron Bennie-Powell getting a hand on it. He's going to return it all the way to the end zone. West going to start this one on top.
And that's just unfortunate for the punt team for the Thunderhawks. They've been pretty consistent this year. That one was just a low snap. Sandhar couldn't get a hold on it, and there was no chance of him getting that one off.
Little deja vu right there. I don't know if you remember it, but I do. That was the same exact thing that happened last year. Not too sure who it was. I think it was Asbeck last year that made it happen. But block punts in East-West games, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it somehow happens every time.
And special teams is a not too talked about unit for this West team, but it seems like week in, week out, there's at least one block punt, and that's one of the seemingly many that we see go for a touchdown. So Tabron bennie-powell able to get the Thunderhawks on the board here, a familiar family here at Lakota East, but Tabron, of course, a West kid at heart. He comes up with a big play there. We will take a quick step aside. We'll be right back. Thunderhawks' second possession when we return. As we return to Liberty Township, it's the Firebirds up early in this district rivalry matchup. 7-0 our score after a Tabron bennie-powell block punt returned to the end zone, but it was a very solid drive overall on offense. It was unfortunately a special teams mishap that kind of cost the whole thing for the Thunderhawks. But what did you see that you liked there from that first drive?
You know, I think the Thunderhawks were doing a great job of moving the ball. They were getting around to different people. We saw Hooks, we saw Vogelman, we saw Neal. They were working it around, and then that offensive line just stalled them out.
And of course, the voice of the Thunderhawks on Lakota East Student Broadcasting, as you just heard with us in the booth here tonight on this partnered stream. Couldn't be more happier to partner with East for this broadcast, so we appreciate you having up here.
Yeah, again, excited to be on. It's been a great week preparing everything, and excited for this broadcast.
Should be an exciting football game as well. Of course, Firebirds, they always make the most of special teams, but it's been exciting to watch what Kitten has put together on that last offensive drive and what he's been able to do this year. So we'll get right back into it here. Lots of motion for the Thunderhawks here, getting set for their first play. This one going to be a handoff, ran left side. Ryder Hooks able to pick up about 2 on the carry.
And I think one of the big points of that punt block was just how it plays to the confidence of the team. You know, they see that after that drive and they get a little weary about this defense.
Yeah, that's what this defense does. It wears you down. It only takes a couple of drives before the offense gets going, and once that happens, I mean, it's pretty much lights out.
And it's weird how reverse it seems like it should be. I mean, your defense, you usually don't want them out on the field that long. They run out of gas. It's very easy to do, especially for the guys up front. But as time goes on, it seems like West wants to keep these guys out here. Big throw across the middle. Zion Neal coming up with a catch, wiggles his way to the 50-yard line. A big connection from Kitna to Neal.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal pass from Kitna. Great catch by Neal. The offensive line there did a great job giving Kitna that time. He had a lot of time in the pocket, and that was able to provide him with an accurate throw to Neal.
And there's that big play we were talking about, what the Thunderhawks needed coming into this ball game on that pregame show, and we've seen a couple of them here tonight. As Kitna once again looks to throw short left side pass. It's Vogelman who's able to pick up about 4, maybe 5 on the reach. See where they spot the football.
Almost a little close to jumping that, but Vogelman was able to bring it in.
Yeah, it's a good placed ball by Kitna.
See Hooks to the backfield here to Kitna's right. Handoff here, Hooks runs it up the middle, has a little bit of a hole. Offensive line tries to get him that last push. He will end up just short of that first down marker by about maybe a half a yard.
See East moving with a little bit of pace right here, trying to catch West off guard.
Kitna under center, he's gonna try and sneak with it. And I don't know that he got it. Looked like he might have at first.
He think he's short. Ref says he's short.
They're going to close the fist. 4th down. Do you go for it here, Kyle?
I think Kitna does. I think he definitely will go for it. He wants to make a statement here, but I think it's interesting that he drew up a QB sneak on that one. Obviously, a lot of confidence in his son, but this West defensive line is so big, I don't know how he thought that was going to work.
We'll see him here. They are going to go for it. Kitna, a little bit of a conference over there on the sideline with his quarterback. A return here in shotgun. Defensive line jumping. And the Thunderhawks fans getting loud here. A big penalty going back to the discipline as West jumps that one.
There it is. We talked about it earlier. JT's hard count, he got him with it, and that got him the first down. They don't even have to worry about snapping the ball.
Yeah, that's a rare penalty from the defense, especially defensive line. They've done, I can't even remember the last time they really jumped on the ball and cost themselves 5 yards. And that's really what they strive on as a defense, as a unit, is not creating those penalties. And you saw it right there. If East can continue to do that, they could have some offensive success.
Fresh set of downs here for Kitna and the East offense from the 36-yard line of Firebirds territory. As the Thunderhawks taking a moment here, just under 20 seconds on the play clock, huddling up around midfield.
I think this is good for the Thunderhawks. They got a couple of plays there, a couple of big plays, picked up some yardage. Now they're taking their time, not rushing it, giving their guys a break.
And it looks like a guy up front for West tying a shoe is what's going to cause a delay here. And it looks like we get a timeout called here. I believe that is an East Side timeout, so we'll take a quick step aside with them. And we'll be right back in just a few moments. Back after the timeout here from the Hawks Nest, and we did get a report between our break there that Kitna coming up from that last play with maybe something in his eye that caused that East timeout there. We'll see him 1st and 10. He's out on the field from the Firebirds 36. Hands it off. Here goes Ryder Hooks, wrapped up instantly in the backfield. Elijah Davis, quick to get to those ankles.
Eli was in there quick. He swallowed that play whole, and that's what he does. Game in, game out. That's his strength. He's great in the pass rush, but I mean, you could argue he's even better in the run stopping category. I mean, he just does it every play. I mean, he's a playmaker. That's why he's going to Akron.
Hooks to the backfield here. Coincidence that they run it after a potential eye issue, I don't know, but we'll see what they elect to do here. Play action, bootleg out to the left side, overthrown, and it is incomplete to his tight end out there, P.J. McFarland, sophomore tight end.
Yeah, Kendall was getting chased down on that one. He knew that he had to get rid of that ball. Tried to get it out to McFarland, but just couldn't quite get it there. Overthrew him just a little bit.
Cam Thomas, great patience. He really set that edge and didn't fall for the play action pass. Didn't bite on the run and forced Kitna to make a wobbly throw and force the overthrow.
Gotta say, I like the naked bootleg play call there after you run it, and there's potential eye issues. I think we're seeing Kitna get creative on those sidelines, and gotta say I'm a fan of it. That's what makes rivalry games. See him take the snap here. This one to Hooks, ran left side, goes nowhere.
Interesting call on a third and long. Not a ton of success right there on the run. Except for 4th and long, and the offense is not coming off the field, Nick.
Well, it's funny, and on that tackle there, we haven't called his name yet, Micah Markley, one of the key defensive players for this Firebird team, able to stop that play, but as you mentioned, the offense going to stay out here.
Wow.
This defense seemed to expect it, so we'll definitely be interested to see the play call here. Kitna back to throw under pressure from Asbeck on his left. He's going to run with it. Multiple flags down. Kitna's got the first. What speed on the sideline as he's able to break into the red zone nearly to the 10-yard line. I would have to imagine that looked like a blatant hold on Jacob Asbeck on that offensive line.
Yeah, I think Meadows got a hold of him there on that one, trying to protect his quarterback, but you can't do that. Can't grab the jersey, and unfortunately just negated a great run from Gitna.
Yeah, Gitna was flying down the sideline. I haven't seen speed like he was flying down the sideline, man.
Here comes the punt team, the holding call, moving them back 10. And now special teams. We'll see if there are any adjustments made after the Tabron Bennie-Powell block.
It all starts with the snap. Good snap leads to a good punt.
Sandar gets a good snap, nearly blocked by Asbeck. There is contact flag thrown, and that is going to be roughing the kicker, I do believe, unless they call it running into, but I do imagine we are going to see an automatic first.
Yeah, just got a little ahead of himself there and leveled Sandhar, really.
I think Asbeck a little disappointed there. Of course, there is no flag if you make contact with the ball, but just a little bit off on that one, and I think we're seeing 15 and a first.
Yeah, he looked very close. It was almost blocked again, and if he did get a hand on it, like you said, that wouldn't have been a penalty, but must not have.
See which one they go with here. Looks like referees conferring here, not even sure amongst themselves yet, I don't think.
Well, either way, you're going to see this East offense back out because you know they're going to go for it. It'll set up a 4th and short if they don't get the call they want right here.
Looks like we should be getting a call here. And it looks like it will be an automatic first down.
2 penalties, both on the defense. Holding defense number 44 before the kick, declined. Running into the kicker, number 11, declined. We're going to take the result of the play.
So they're going to take the results of the play there. Interesting call. Neither of those would have been a first down because they did end up going with running into, which I think is an interesting call there. I would have called that roughing all the way, but ref's a little generous here, and now we'll see the West offense out for the first time tonight.
Yeah, interesting there that they declined both of those and just let the punt stand. Guess Kenna just didn't want to kick that one again or didn't want to go for it. Not really sure there on that one.
I guess it gives you the field position. I am surprised at bare minimum they didn't take the defensive holding call. I guess both are 5-yard penalties, but you gain 5 yards on a punt, it's different. But instead, we'll see Sam Wiles out here for the first time tonight. First time starting in an East-West battle. He'll look to throw here from the get-go, finds Giovanni Wilson, stays on his feet on that east sideline. He's able to get around that first down marker. I believe he has the first. And the chains will not move. They're going to call him about a half-yard short. Say probably stepped out of bounds somewhere on that sideline.
Yeah, here comes the offensive fill-out drive. Don't think you're going to see any huge shots here. You're just going to see little by little plays that'll get little gain by little gain, and it'll all build up in the end, and hopefully for 6.
Remy and Barnett, the receivers wide. It'll be Remy in motion, takes the jet sweep, runs it to the west side. Able to pick up the first down there on a short gain of about 2. It will bring the Firebirds another set of downs.
I think, Jordan, like you talked about, those plays, just short plays from the West offense, they can wear down the East defense. That's something this defense has struggled with this season. They get worn down, and they fall apart towards the end of games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting the way West decides to play this game. They aren't averse to throwing that deep ball once they get you to commit to some of these short plays. See what Wiles draws up here. Quick fire, finds his tight end, Luca Gilbert, on the right side. Once again, a pretty solid gain there. I don't believe they're going to give him the first down, and a late flag thrown on that sideline. It looks like it could be unsportsmanlike conduct coming from the Firebirds, as in that little skirmish, Cole Miranda, the sophomore receiver for the Thunderhawks, coming up clapping.
Yeah, that's something if you're West you cannot afford. You got to keep your head cool on these rivalry games, and I know it's going to get a little bit heated, but you can't cost your own team 15 yards. That's just in a game like this, you just can't afford it.
Yeah, Miranda and Cruz were both excited after that one. They've been some of the key players on this defense. Miranda, especially only being a sophomore, came in as a wide receiver, but then, as you can see, that club on his hand, broke his hand and switched to defense. He's been doing a great job there.
Penalty called on the Firebirds.
Firebirds marching back here. Anytime you take one of those 15-yard penalties, not great as you hear the backup horn coming from PA up here. Hawks got to be excited about that one. 2nd and 17 on the way. They still did get the 8-yard gain. As Wiles back to throw here under pressure from all sides. Pocket collapses, but he's able to kind of escape it. Able to move up to about the 19. But it will end up a sack as the Firebirds keep moving back.
This East defense has struggled with their defensive line, so that's a great push by them to get in there and collapse that pocket, as well as that they were able to wrap up and make the tackle on Wiles after he tried to escape. Tackling has been a struggle for this defense, but they were able to bring it in there.
I do apologize. That was not a sack. That was actually a short gain of about a yard or so for the Thunderhawks. Or, sorry, for the Firebirds, rather. Love to get the Birds confused in these games.
Wow. This is what you want with your East. You want to set out West in these uncomfortable situations, 3rd and long, make them throw it deep.
Wiles with 3 receivers out wide to his left, fires across the middle, and that could have been dangerous. Overthrows the tight end, Jack Barella, almost right into the hands of the defense.
Yeah, Jack Barella, name we called last week, had his first career touchdown in the varsity game last week, and saw him right there. He's definitely going to get a little bit of action tonight, judging by that play.
So after the first West offensive drive and the first East defensive drive, Colin, how are we feeling about the Thunderhawks' adjustments on defense?
You know, I think the Thunderhawks have done great on defense so far. They've done an incredible job. So they're running to the punter there. I think they've done an incredible job stopping this West offense. They really have come out swinging, like we talked about. Not what I expected from this defense.
You know, I don't think we've talked about it yet, but discipline seems like it could be a pretty big issue in this game. And there we go. We see another personal foul. I think that they're going to call that one roughing.
Yeah, that one was pretty blatant. Not sure if they wanted to pay that one back. Not a smart decision if revenge was the intent, but they definitely knocked him down.
Personal foul, automatic first. West staying out on the field on what should have been a fantastic cap to a drive for the Thunderhawks defense.
Yeah, definitely not what you want again in these rivalry games. You don't want to make bonehead mistakes like that. You got to keep your head cool, keep the mind disciplined. Make sure you're playing with discipline, so it doesn't cost your own team 15 yards and an automatic first down.
It'll be Junior Gonzalez lining up here behind Sam Wiles, a name we really haven't called yet in tonight's game. Big power back for the Firebirds. Play action here. Wiles once again, pocket collapsing around him. He's going to escape to his right, throws, tight window, and that is going to be a catch for the transfer wide receiver, Trey Barnett. That was a fantastic tight window pass, but also a fantastic snag for the man in 1-4.
I mean, that was a great play by Wiles. Pocket collapsed, found his way out, and so the throw was off his back foot going to his left. From a right-handed quarterback to fit in a spot like that, that was a great play by Wiles. And again, that was a great catch also by Barnett. Maybe we haven't caught a lot this season, but again, he's somebody maybe a little underutilized, a little underrated on this offense.
One of Northern Kentucky's top wide receivers last year, but of course the offense, especially beginning of the year, dealing with some struggles. But towards the end of the year in the playoffs, I have a feeling we're going to hear his name a lot, as we're going to see Barnett once again get the ball on a handoff here. He gains about 4.
Again, the defensive line, they're stepping up for the Thunderhawks. They've certainly improved. We just saw it last play, them collapsing on Wiles. Wiles wasn't able to escape, but there didn't let anything through.
Yeah, this East defense, pressure-wise, have done a great job calling. I mean, they've really they forced Wiles out the pocket, and they really haven't had much success on the run game either. So, credit to them to this point.
Yeah, and that's a shocker because they really have been subpar this season. They really have stepped it up here.
Gonzalez with his first touch, bowling ball up the middle. We talked about it earlier. We see it there. Gonzalez, even with a dive after the play, gets to about the 37-yard line. A big first down for the Firebirds to keep things moving.
Sorry about the jinx there, right there.
Yeah, of course. We'll talk about him, and then he gets a big run through.
Yeah, that's Junior again. He's a bowling ball. I mean, inside zone up the middle. Nothing much you can do. It takes multiple people to bring him down, and that's what he's done all season. I mean, just keeps trudging along.
Gonzalez taking to the blocker role here, and in comes the sophomore Braden Johnson. Gilbert and Gonzalez motioning over. We've seen this formation many a time this year for the Firebirds as it's a handoff to the sophomore, gets hit right at the line. Forward progress, probably able to get him about a yard, nothing more.
And that defensive line comes back swinging on that one. So a little concerned with all the shifting there at the end, but the defensive line was able to hold it together and make a good stop there.
You jinxed it once. I'm surprised you went back to.
We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, that was a great play by Cohen Wright, by the way, the linebacker, as the clock is going to expire here in the first quarter.
And Firebirds not going to take an opportunity to run another play here. We will switch sides of the field and come back to you here with another full second quarter of coverage. Firebirds lead this one 7-0 on this combined stream here between East and West Student Broadcasting. Thanks for sticking with us, and be sure to stay tuned. Back from Lakota East High School here. Always fun when you have a district rivalry, but it's always fun, more fun when the game is this close, 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. And I know West, as talented as they are, a lot we're expecting them to come in against this one-win Thunderhawks team and run with the ball game. But I think we are all in agreement up here that this is almost, in a way, exactly what we expected, as Giovanni Wilson has to follow the football there, loses the handoff. But it's been a very tight contest so far, and like I said, some ways it's shocking, some ways it's not.
Yeah, it absolutely has been a tight contest. Both teams have been pretty evenly matched, barring that blocked punt, which got West on the board. But other than that, both offenses have seemed to go back and forth.
It's 3rd and 14 for the Firebirds.
And of course, go back and count how many times in the first quarter we said the word discipline. I mean, we saw so many flags on the field. Anytime you're seeing that much laundry out there stopping the pace of play, I mean, you're going to have close games like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And both teams have been victim of it. We saw both punters get hit. And of course, we've seen a couple of issues with the lines.
3rd and 14. Wiles with time in the pocket, fires across the middle, jumping snag from Remy. He came down with it off the tip to the 12-yard line. A big Firebird gain. That just brought momentum into this ball game. Exactly what East couldn't let happen.
Oh, I mean, what a catch. That was crazy from Remy. He's made a couple of those this year. I mean, the focus it takes right off the fingertips of the safety. He didn't even have control with it when he was coming down. He literally caught it on the ground.
I think he caught that ball about 4 times, and that's not including the fingers that the safety had on that one. Just all around a real funky play, but it's one East couldn't afford to give up. And now the Firebirds in the red zone for the first time tonight. Handoff here to Wilson, blown dead pre-snap. And it looks like we have a West Side timeout, and we'll take a timeout with them. Thanks for sticking with us on this combined Lakota broadcast. I'm Nick Johnson alongside our analyst Jordan Hauk, and from Lakota East Student Broadcasting, Colin Coons. We'll be right back with the remainder of this ball game from Lakota East in a few moments. back after the timeout here from the Firebirds sideline. 10:40 remaining in the first half of this ball game, as after the big Brennan Remy completion, Firebirds in the red zone for the first time tonight. They'll be working from the 12-yard line as Wiles keeps this one, tries to punch it up the gut. Might get a little bit on that play, maybe about a full yard. It will be a second and long upcoming.
The East defensive line did a great job controlling the center guard duo right there. Really got through, made the play happen. Kind of shut down that play. They really got no gain. See if this East defense can get a huge stand. 3 points at this point would be huge in momentum for the East sideline.
Once again, the motion men, the tight end, Gilbert, and the running back, Gonzalez, over to the left side, run right. Firebirds able to punch it inside the 10. They get to about the 7-yard line before being brought down. Third and a mid-range play here coming up. They're going to call it officially 4 to that line to gain. Spotted inside the 5 on about the 2 or 3.
Like you guys talk about, he bowling balled his way through on that one. Defensive line had a little bit, but he picked up a couple of yards to make it 3rd and short.
All options are open on this one. 3rd down from about your own 7, from the East 7. All options are playable at this point. You just got to pull out your best play.
And it looks like we get another timeout called here, and it's another West Side timeout. I find that interesting. I saw Brennan Remy over there on that East sideline almost signaling to Wiles like, hey, this is my play, hit me, but I guess West not liking the defensive look, and they'll take another step aside. So let's take a moment and let's talk about this red zone defense for East so far. I mean, we know what they can do on offense as far as this West team goes, and Jordan was talking about all the options are opening. But who do you commit to if you're this East defense? Who do you play? What do you play? The run? Do you cover one of these receivers? Do you play that option? Who are you going to?
You know, I think this is difficult because the Firebirds have done both pretty effectively on this drive so far. But I think the Thunderhawks are going to think that they're going to be looking to go through the air, maybe especially to Remy, like you talked about there. He seemed ready on that one. Thunderhawks are going to especially try to make that stop because their pass defense hasn't been ideal.
We'll see both teams trot out here. Firebirds down to 1 timeout remaining in the half, and it's a timeout that they may not have thought they needed heading into this game, but a 7-0 ball game. As we get later in the second quarter, that can make a big difference. We'll see Wiles here take to the shotgun. It's Junior Gonzalez, the back to his left, 4 wide. Gilbert, the man in motion, goes up left, play action play, as Wiles tries to dump this one off to Gilbert. Had me fooled, and it looked like Gonzalez had the hole, but that one incomplete to the left side to the tight end.
Yo, solid fake there. Looked like he did hand it off, but tried to pass it down. Didn't quite get it there.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing you guys were saying. I mean, that was a great fake. Got us up here in the booth, but I mean, the hole was there if you would have handed it off. Maybe you got a little too fancy right there. Forces the field goal unit to come out and try to get 3 up on the board.
Yeah, of course, that feels like the one thing on that play we didn't hit on too much. 3rd down, of course, you either commit to that first or you commit to the end zone. They played the first, didn't get it. Now comes Braden Benner. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And Jordan, we did have a message that the Lakota West Athletic Boosters wanted us to relay during tonight's game. Are you a fan of food, Jordan?
I am. I'm a pretty big fan of food, yeah.
You a big wings guy. Do you like beat-ups?
I am. I actually went there before this game today. Fun fact.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, because at the next home game for the Firebirds, we saw the students kick the field goals at the end of the first quarter. Next week, it's going to be the athletic directors.
Oh, my.
And if they make it, students in attendance with their valid student IDs will get a free 6-piece boneless wing from Buffalo Wild Wings. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Yeah.
Hey, we'll
Should
go
be very
get some.
fun.
We'll go get some if our guy makes it.
Very interesting what the boosters have been doing this year. I appreciate the free pizza for a year, and then now the wings.
Yeah, would that be Mr. Kaufman kicking it?
It is Kaufman and Cornelli.
Oh,
and,
man.
Colin, don't you worry. We'll slip you a student ID. We'll get you in there. We'll get you the 6-piece.
Love to get some wings. Love me some beat-ups.
I don't think they got a lot of kicking experience, to be honest.
I mean, I could see Kaufman putting on the soccer cleats back in the day. I don't know. As that one goes to the back of the end zone, Braden Benner boots it all the way through once again, and out comes the Thunderhawks offense. And it feels like we've been a minute since we've seen this crew out on the field, but Kitna started out really hot in that first quarter. We just haven't seen him off that bench in a while.
Yeah, no, Kitna's had a lot of time to rest, think about things. They were firing fast, but like this offense has done, they stall out. They just need to keep things moving, keep it aggressive, and try to keep going down the field.
Yeah, from a momentum perspective, 3 points would be huge here, just going into the half, keeping it close, keeping the game tight.
Kitna looks out for the screen here on his right side. Looks like a short gain, maybe of about 2 on the play. Are going to end up giving him about 3. So the screen works out, keeping the Thunderhawks on schedule.
Yeah, and they work it out to Neil like that quite often. A lot of the time he is able to explode out, but Firebirds doing a great job stopping him there on that one.
We'll see the Thunderhawks here taking their time in the huddle. We have seen them at times tonight play the hurry-up game, but on this drive I wouldn't be surprised to see a more drawn-out pace of play.
Yeah, trying to wind that clock down for halftime. Maybe go make some adjustments.
Kitna looks out, finds Vogelman, the senior receiver, to his left. And a lot of West defenders in the area to lock that one down. Was still a pretty solid gain for the Thunderhawks there. Once again, keeping them on schedule. Looks like about a 3rd and 3 on the way. See what the Thunderhawks able to draw up here, playing for the first.
Yeah, again, just another one of those short passes, getting it out to their explosive guys. That was Vogelman catching that one. That sets them up for a favorable 3rd down where they like to work with this type of yardage.
See Kitna under center here. There's that hard count. Nearly got him.
Got me up here.
We saw a couple of flinches down there. No jumps offside. As Kitna dropping back here into the shotgun, joins Hooks in the backfield. And we get a flag there. I believe that was a jump on the offensive line.
Sometimes that hard count gets your own guys.
Oh, they're going to call it delay of game before anything. So looks like everyone jumped at the right time on the snap, just a little delayed.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. One of those self-inflicted penalties. That one completely avoidable. Kitna there just not watching the play clock. Thought he had more time than he did, and they get a delay game penalty there.
See him break the huddle here. 3rd and 2, a lot different than a 3rd and 7. And a game this close, only 10-0. And I think a lot of fans on this west side were expecting to be up by a lot more at this point. But East, they've got a really, really respectable ball game going here as Kitna tries to keep this one running himself. Comes up just shy of that 1st down marker, and I gotta wonder, they're gonna give him the 1st down.
Yes, they are.
One set of chains is moving, and there goes the other, so they are gonna give him the 1st down after all. I was just about ready to ask you. I think they go for it on 4th and short, but no matter, apparently.
Yeah, that one took some time, and I think they would have gone for it, but Kitna there effectively using his legs like he's done this season, and great work by him there to just do it himself, pick up that 1st down, and give the Thunderhawks a fresh set of downs.
Shotgun snap here for Jamison Kitna. Under pressure from the middle, it's Gabe Flores. He is able to roll to his left, and he's going to fire that one away off to the east sideline.
Yeah, it's something you don't see really a lot in the high school football. I think it's something that more QB quarterbacks should develop is that presence of throwing the ball out of bounds instead of trying to use your legs. Unless it's there, the lane is there, and you take it. But don't risk yourself getting injured just for a couple yards when you can get a fresh new play and be refreshed after a thrown ball out of bounds. So it was a good decision by Kitna.
Kitna and Hooks will return to the backfield here. 3 receivers bunched out wide right. There'll be 1 wide to Kitna's left as he takes the snap here, fires across the middle. Right off the fingertips there of Zion Neal. No defenders in the area on the tipped ball, so it will fall incomplete. Thunderhawks working with a 3rd and 10 from their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, Kitna there just putting it a little high for Neal, but one of the other things is that Kitna throws that ball very hard, very aggressively, so his receivers have to do a lot to bring that ball in and catch it, and I think there we maybe saw that a little bit because it's high and you can't get that hold on it, and it just went right through his fingers.
Yeah, Kitna's got some zip on the ball, that's for sure.
Here's Kitna, looks to throw again. Davion McCoy had some pressure up the middle. Drew Minnick takes the shot, misses the first, but Drew will end up with the sack. Nearly back at that 20-yard line there, and I think they are going to spot that right on the 20-yard line of Thunderhawks territory, make it 4th and 20. A big defensive play for Drew Minnick, who had a big week last week. We talked about how he looked like a heat-seeking missile at times. I mean, he can get back there with his quickness.
Yeah, the Holes brought the corner blitz right there. You know, we've seen it a couple times, and the couple times that we've seen it, it's worked. And, I mean, the left tackle, saw it coming. He got out there, but Minnick just a little too quick, got around him.
Shanked punt here off to the east sideline. West will be starting in enemy territory, knocking on the door of scoring range. And while we switch possessions here, as you've seen on the break graphics and in the pregame show, of course, this is a combined stream between East and West Broadcasting, so we are very fortunate to have some East Siders representing up in the booth here tonight. Colin Coons from the East Student Broadcasting Group. And Colin, while we have some downtime here, why don't you talk to us about how that group has been going and where these people can find you?
You know, I've been so incredibly impressed with our guys getting things off the ground here. You can find us Lakota East Broadcast. Type that right into the search bar. We'll come right up. We started the program this year, got into football, and it's been a learning experience, but I think things have been going great, and we're happy to broadcast all of Lakota East home games.
And we are glad to have you over here, too. I mean, you've had some incredible insight here tonight. I mean, this broadcast has gone fantastically. I don't think I would have known this much about East without you up here.
Yeah, happy to provide all the insight here for these Thunderhawks. A lot going on with this team. New head coach, John Kitna. You know, things get interesting for these Thunderhawks.
So, of course, like you mentioned, go subscribe to their YouTube channel. I know last year, at a couple points in time, you know, struggling to get off the ground, we hit a couple of view caps. Don't let them struggle with that. Go out there, give them the support they deserve, because they do deserve it. It's a fantastic group over there, and once again, glad we could put together the pregame show and put on a full production for Lakota here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Any support would help getting things moving here early on with Lakota East broadcast, but happy to have any support.
Wiles takes the shotgun snap here. Another jet sweep finds Brennan Remy. Gets a couple past the line of scrimmage. Looks to be about a 3rd and maybe 1.5 to 2 up and coming for the Firebirds as they're already inside the Lakota East 30.
Yeah, it's a classic play call from Beauchamp, the offense coordinator. I remember it last year. I remember that play specifically on the jet sweep. They gave it to Remy. He made a cut, and he was gone, and they knew the game was over right there. And East did a great job stopping him. See if they can stop him right here on 3rd and short.
Wiles will return to the shotgun. He's got Gonzalez to his left. They do hand it off. That run read really well by this East defense. The chains go to 4th. And, oh, he's about a hair short, maybe less than a hair short there. And here comes some of the defensive guys. Asbeck, Flores, Markley.
Oh, boy.
Even the nose tackle, Jonas Griffith, getting in there. I think we know what's going on.
My personal favorite formation right here, offensively.
See if the Rhino package works here. And that's a big pile of flag thrown there from the offensive backfield. That pile moved a lot all over that field. I would have to imagine where it stands it would be a first. Interested to see what that penalty flag was from behind that big pile.
Assisting the runner. 5 yards in the
Yes, so an interesting call there that you don't see a ton, but it cost the Firebirds big time. I don't see their offense coming off the field, though. And it looks like some of those defensive guys are still out there as well.
Overall, an interesting play there for both teams, really.
Little personnel change right here. Probably got to go to the air.
And it's always interesting when you get a ball carrier like that on offense, the very specific ways you're allowed to move them and the ways you aren't. As we're within 5 seconds on the play clock here, I'd have to imagine we see a West timeout. No call yet, as there it goes, timeout. So they will not take the delay of game. They burn their 3rd and final timeout. And we'll see if they still stick with the offense coming out here when we return from break. Still a lot of action to come. 3:39 on the game clock in this half, and then a full 24 minutes of action in the second half. Don't go anywhere here on this Lakota broadcast. We'll be right back with all the coverage after this. We are back from the Hawks' nest, and so is the West offense. Wiles takes the snap here. He's going to run with it up the middle. Spins a tackler. Fighting for that first down. It looks like he got it on that 25-yard line, and those chains will start to move. A big pickup, lots of contact, but Sam Wiles able to stay on his feet, use the athleticism to fight through it all.
Yeah, and he had a clear lane there. That was like a 6-lane highway, straight up the middle. Was able to take it up there, had nobody stopping him. Even when he did get stopped, they couldn't wrap up and tackle him, and he just kept fighting for yardage.
And it feels like Wiles a really strong relationship with his offensive line, but even when they don't open up gigantic holes, I mean, they could open up enough space to fit a delivery truck through, or you could hardly fit a Segway through some of those holes sometimes with the defensive pressure, but he always finds a way to escape regardless of the situation.
I love those analogies. You're doing a great job, Nick.
We'll see another run here. This one to the sophomore Johnson. Helmets off on the play as he just continues to fight up the middle. And he got close to that first down marker. They might give that to him, and they do. The chains are going to start to move, so Braden Johnson absolutely powering up the middle for the first.
That was a physical run by BJ right there. They just handed off. The gap was there. Middle linebacker met him in that A-gap, and there was no A-gap after that. I mean, he just barreled over him. Moves the chains. I mean, what a play.
That's what Johnson likes to do, make the field your gap. As we'll see Wiles with a designed run play here, gets to the 10-yard line, brought down by a pile of Thunderhawks. Picked up on the option, but he's able to use that speed to get out wide and work with it pretty well. About a gain of 3 on the play. 2nd and 7 directly on that 10-yard line in the red zone.
Defense, they're able to follow him, get off their blocks, and able to get in there, wrap up, and tackle him for not much gain on that one.
Thunderhawks defense holding strong thus far. West seemingly sticking to their game plan of this option. As Wiles going to run this one up the middle again, gets to about the 8. And we'll see another third down, another big third down up and coming for these Firebirds. Of course, we talked about Easton, their struggles in the red zone sometimes and finishing off their drive, but West in a lot of ways has had some similar issues at times, as we already saw a third down stop in this situation from the Thunderhawks before that forced a field goal. These are big points in a game this close, a rivalry game this close, especially when you're on the road. So should be interesting to see what the Hawks come out here with.
Yeah, you look at the Thunderhawks, allowing 3 isn't great, but I think that's absolutely a win for this defense. We'll see if they can only allow 3 here as well.
Wiles looks left. He's going to roll left, not liking any of his options, fires deep. And that is going to be incomplete. Another big third down stop for these Hawks.
4th down for the Firebirds.
Great hold by the East defense right there. Did their job coverage-wise. Nobody open downfield. And when nobody was open downfield, Wiles usually goes to his run game. And again, there was no lane to run either. So they did a great job keeping him in the pocket, making sure he doesn't get out. And once he did get out the pocket, the zones were there, and there was nowhere to throw it. And just an all-around great job by this East defense.
You really have to give props to that secondary. Like you said, Wiles had a little bit of time there, but that secondary locking down everyone. Wiles wasn't liking what he was seeing. And at the end of the day, Firebirds settling for another 3 points. Kick is up and good from Braden Benner. Right about a minute exactly on the clock for the Thunderhawks. Trying to cook something up at home to end this half with some points on the board. Not wanting to be shut out, definitely. I mean, when you head to this locker room in a game this big.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Thunderhawks 1 minute, they want to try to get something going. Not sure if they'll be able to do it, but we've talked about those explosive plays. They have the guys to do it. If they can just all put it together, they have a chance of getting into field goal range or maybe even getting a touchdown.
We'll see the kicking units trot out onto the field here. A long minute when you get to this point in the half, but East also working with 2 timeouts on their side. West can't stop the clock.
I want to give you a quick little fact here, Nick and Colin. Braden Benner has only missed 2 career field goals, along with extra points, but he's 21 for 23 all time. So just want to give you that little fun fact.
If the game as close as it is, might come down to a field goal at the end of the day. That one takes a bounce into the end zone. Benner only with touchbacks on tonight's game. So, I mean, you take a look at that strong leg. We've been seeing it all night. And, I mean, as close as this game might be, like I said, these are big points that the Thunderhawks are going to be fighting for on this drive.
Yeah, and special teams is a tough part of high school football because a lot of the times you just put a guy back there and hope that he can get it done. But the Firebirds having a consistent kicker, that adds very effectively to their game. And like you talk about, in a close game like this could be, that can win or lose the game.
Thunderhawks lining up here with Kitna under center. Ryder Hooks taking to the backfield. Handoff play. Stuffed right at that line of scrimmage. A lot of white shirts getting back there to the ball carrier. Will be about a gain of about a full yard on the carry.
Seems like Coach Kitna just wants to take his guys into the locker room, talk things over after this first half. Isn't trying to do anything crazy here.
They are going to let that clock run as well. No timeouts called. Possibly a momentum play, not wanting to turn that ball over. Similar formation here for the Thunderhawks. Another handoff. Here's Hooks. Hit hard by Asbeck up the middle. Hawks about halfway down the chains here. Once again, clock running. Now to 10.
You know, if your plan really is to just run out the clock, not much point in running your guy there through the middle. Hooks there going down hard on that one.
And we will see both teams run off into the locker room. 13-0. Our score at halftime here from Lakota East High School. Very interesting game so far. There's a lot to talk about and still a lot more to happen here from the home of the Thunderhawks. Once again, one more time, we want to thank you for tuning into this combined Lakota student broadcast. I'm Nick Johnson alongside Jordan Houck from the west side, and from the east side, Colin Coons from their student broadcast club, as we will be back with the final 24 minutes of action when we return for what should be a very fun second half of football. And we're back from Lakota East High School. Another 24 minutes to play here from the home of the Thunderhawks. Only a 13-0 ball game as we head out of the locker rooms on this combined Lakota student broadcast. Of course, we're on Lakota West student broadcasting here tonight, but we are very happy to partner with our friends over at Lakota East, the Lakota East Student Broadcasting Club, and joining us up here in the booth is their play-by-play man, Colin Coons. And Colin, that was a solid first half from the Thunderhawks, and it might not be showing on the scoreboard, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out with a lot of momentum heading out of these locker rooms.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. 13-0 in favor of West, but the Thunderhawks have shown great improvement. A lot of aspects of their game, they've definitely improved, and despite the score being a little lopsided, Thunderhawks have a chance to stay in this game.
And we see the boot away here, first East kickoff of the game. Brendan Remy will let it fall into the back of the end zone. And the East Hawks started their first drive of the game on the 20, first drive of the second half. Firebirds have it on the same yard marker.
All right, we'll see what adjustments these two coaches made at halftime. Hopefully they were good ones because, I mean, low-scoring game, not what you expect from a game like this. I'm going to be honest. I was expecting a shootout, kind of. But, again, they're both playing to their strengths, and probably West is going to favor the run on this drive, I would suppose. So I'm curious to see what they come out and do.
And it kind of seems to be for the East offense. It's those few key plays that either it's a flag or it's a blown assignment or something that ends up costing the play. And West just fortunate enough to keep their offense out on the field here with their great defense to finish on those missed opportunities. As we see this handoff here get blown up right at the line, gain of about a half a yard. Firebirds working with a second and long.
Yeah, immediately the defense coming out there. This is when we see them at their strongest. The start of the second half, they've had their break, they've made their adjustments, they're ready to make these stops for this Firebird offense.
Already 30 seconds into the half, Wiles returning to shotgun, 4 receivers out wide. He's got a back to his right. It's Junior Gonzalez. Wiles playing the evasive game up the middle. Dropped at about the 29-yard line, about a yard shy of that line to gain. West staying on schedule, trying to fight for that first down marker and start off strong in the second half.
Yeah, nice little designed quarterback run right there. QB draw. Flanked out to the right side with Remy and put one right up the middle. Able to avoid those 2 inside backers just to get a couple more yards. Sets up a third and manageable.
Wiles under center here. Looks like it could be a push. They hand it off to Gonzalez. Fights up the middle after cutting it back left. And I believe from here it looks like it'll be a first down. And the chains will start to move.
Great push by that O-line. Something that we don't mention a ton. I know there's a lot to talk about with these athletes on both sides of the ball, but the O-line has been a key factor of this offense's success this year. Done a great job, especially guys stepping up. You know, you got starting guys out like Jacob Tillery, who's out still with a broken foot. He'll be back next week. Again, just dudes stepping up, taking the job, taking it in their own hands, and really doing a great job this season.
Brendan Remy, the motion man. Wiles with the snap here. Another handoff. Finds Gonzalez. Fights forward for about 2. Another solid stop from the East defensive front.
They've used Gonzalez quite a bit there. Thunderhawk defense trying to make those stops, but he just keeps fighting through, breaking through that defensive line for the Thunderhawks.
It seems like he has slowed down a little bit. It seems like at times in the first half, you could run him up the middle, and it feels like he was picking up 9-10 yards a carry. I mean, that's typically the kind of back he is, but it is a very impressive East defensive front, an effort all around to put a stop to him, and it seems like so far this half they have. Gonzalez moving up. He'll be a blocker here. This handoff ran to Braden Johnson. Pushes to the 35. Pyle moving. Doesn't look like he'll get much farther. Pickup of 2. And we will see a 3rd down and 5 up and coming for the Firebirds.
Yeah, I believe that's Cohan Ripe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The junior linebacker in the middle. He stuffed it. He's done a really good job, I've noticed. Really stuffing those holes
Yeah,
especially up the middle.
that one's Reap, Cohen Reap.
Ah.
He's been a standout star on this defense. He's done a great job making those tackles. He makes those aggressive tackles for sure.
Big 3rd and 5. It's about the loudest we've heard it all day. Booth shaking from the east side stands. Here goes Wiles. Under pressure from both sides, pocket collapses, flag thrown, broken play. He has the first down, unlikely to stand. I would have to imagine that's at least a holding penalty in the offensive backfield.
Yeah, looks like this one might be coming back.
Holding, offense number 77. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay third down.
3rd and 15 after the 10-yard penalty. And that'll happen when you have the defensive front collapsing in on the pocket like that, as they have been seemingly every play this half.
Yeah, Thunderhawks with a great push on that one. They were able to get in, almost fully collapse around Wiles. Would have gotten there without the hold, but the ref saw that one, called the hold, and backed up the Firebirds.
See Wiles, the lone man in the backfield here, 4 wide. Gonzalez up on the right side of the line as a blocker. Reese Mason, the man wide open on the quick screen to the right side. Hit right where that original line of scrimmage was, and that was an absolute hammer. Dropped on Mason there, in on the tackle, and the big hit is Miles Metz, the junior defensive back for the Thunderhawks.
Yeah, and Metz is one of those big guys who also makes the tackles like that. Brought the boom on that one. Thunderhawks stopped the guys going deep and were able to just make the tackle on the guy they passed it to down close.
Said that at a great time. I'm enjoying the Here Comes the Boom. Haven't heard that song in a while. Great song choice from the PA guy here at Lakota East. As Minnick hopping over the football here, takes a West-friendly roll. And there is a late flag down there on the east sideline. I would have to imagine maybe a sideline warning. There weren't any Firebirds in the area.
Sideline warning is something we've seen a couple of times from the Thunderhawks. Kitno likes to get very in the ref's face. He oftentimes steps outside of his allotted area on the sideline, edges out onto the field a little bit. We'll see if that's what they call here.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Kicking team number 20.
And it is a personal foul, dead ball.
I'm sorry.
On the-
Receiving team.
And okay, now they changed it. So they originally called it on West, and then you got a correction there. It is on the receiving team. So not sure what the personal foul was. Probably a little mouthing off if I had to guess. It's not like there could have been any contact, or at least from what we saw.
Yeah, we didn't really see anything there. And in a rivalry game like this, tempers flare, things get heated. Definitely could have been some words exchanged.
I mean, maybe it almost goes back to what you were saying about Kitna getting in the ref's face. I don't think we heard a number on that call. It very well could have been on the coaching staff. As you see Jamison Kitna in the ball game for the first time this half, hands it off to Ryder Hooks, who has a large hole on that right sideline, nearly able to get to that line to gain. He will be shoved out of bounds just a little bit prior, about 2 or 3 yards to go on this set of downs.
Yeah, that's something you don't usually see from the West defense is if they get beat laterally, because their lateral quickness is just so good and they fly to the ball so fast. Especially those outside backers, they do a great job getting to the ball and stopping them after a couple of yards. But great job there by Ryder to get outside of those outside backers, picking up a good chunk of yards.
Kitna working 5 wide here, and penalty flag thrown pre-snap. And it looks like it's going to be encroachment on the West defensive front. Automatic first.
That's good for the Thunderhawks. They pick up that easy first down there. Would have been 2nd and short, but nice to give them a fresh set of downs to work with here.
And that Firebird penalty is good for
Again, a momentum perspective. At least 3 points will do it here, especially for this East defense. Excuse me, offense. But yeah, 3 points would be pretty monumental here.
Another handoff here to Ryder Hooks. Cuts it back to the right side, able to get to the 25. Another late flag, this one in the defensive secondary.
This one could be a face mask. I think that's what I saw personally.
Here's the penalty flag on the play.
We await the call on the field here.
Defense number 5.
And there's the face mask. Called on Drew Minnick officially. But I was starting to say there, I feel like we got to get a penalty tally at some point, at least on this half, if not the whole game. I feel like it's never a fun game when penalty flags decide the momentum, decide the outcome, but this game specifically has just been interesting with the flag. It hasn't changed anything, but they're just all over the place, all over the time, it feels like.
Yeah, a variety of different penalties coming, just basically almost every penalty you can imagine. A lot of yellow on the field so far in this game.
Yeah, a very undisciplined game, and a lot of time being taken here. A lot of explanations.
I don't think you can say that nobody saw it coming. When you have a rivalry game like this, it makes sense East-West has more flags, but we haven't seen a ton of personal fouls. I mean, obviously we have had our fair share, but a lot of holds, a lot of false start. A lot of it is the discipline element to the game.
Mental errors. They're all mental errors.
Here goes Hooks again. To the right, wrapped up at the line.
Great adjustment there by the Firebirds defensive line. Hooks tried to go with the same thing he did in the first play of the drive, trying to take it around the side, but Firebirds able to move quickly with him that time and not let him get anywhere.
He did miss there. The pile was kind of hiding him, but they are going to give him a gain of about 3 on that carry. From our perspective, couldn't really see much there, but that's the kind of athlete Hooks is. You fight for something when there's nothing. Jamison Kidna under center. Hands it off to Hooks again. Offensive line in on the push as he carries it up to about the 38 before being dropped.
Yeah, Hooks is just being immediately contacted after the line of scrimmage, and he is just carrying those West defenders on his back, doing everything he can to get those couple yards and set up the offense for a third and about intermediate. So really could go to what's best right here. Definitely could pull out a quick pass, or and if you really wanted to, you could really run the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of options here for Thunderhawk offense for third and medium.
Idnick coming out in shotgun here. He has Hooks to his right. Tight end, the man in motion. Another flag. Offensive jump.
Like you were saying earlier, it's just those self-inflicted penalties, basic stuff, basic football.
84 the offense.
And it's not like at this point in time it's noise either, because usually in games like these, it's the snap count that you don't fully hear, or miscommunication just with the atmosphere. But right now it's kind of a lull in crowd noise, and we're seeing all these encroachments and false start penalties on this drive specifically.
Yeah, pretty quiet here, and that just speaks to the newness of this offensive line. They still got to make some adjustments and get into things.
Jamison back to pass here. Had some pressure from both edges. Flag down. He throws it away. Nearly didn't get to that sideline. Ended up picking up a little distance as of late. West almost hopeful there they could have picked off that ball down the sideline, but now take a look at what flag we have down now.
Yeah, I think we're going to get another holding penalty. Refs are going to talk about it. Could be a ticky-tacky call, but if that's what's being called, that's what's coming.
5:06 on the clock in the third quarter.
2 penalties, 1 on each team. Hold, defense, hold, offense, offense. Replay again.
A little bit of a wrestling match there, back and forth, so they end up offsetting. The incompletion will stand. 3rd and 9 upcoming for the Hawks. That's I think that speaks a lot to the way this game has been going.
Yeah, I absolutely think it does. That's not one you see very often. Holds offsetting each other. Very interesting case there for that penalty.
Kidna with the communication to his line. A lot of pressure by an unblocked Cam Thomas. Kidna staggering in the backfield. Able to fire it off, throws it away again. 4th and 9, kicking unit most likely to come out as Jamison Kidna walks off to the sideline.
Halls with another great call. He loves to bring the pressure, and he brought it right there with that outside backer, Cam Thomas. Completely unblocked. Forced Kidna out the pocket, and I mean, as the coverage, as good as it is, I mean, it's pretty much impossible to find a man downfield in a scramble drill. So I had to throw it away right there. Gives this West offense another chance out on the field.
Remy back deep. Sandhar boot this one away. High snap. Is able to get it off end over end. Fair caught by Remy at the Firebird 40-yard line. So we'll take a quick step aside. Firebirds looking to put this one to rest potentially early by finding the end zone once again when we return.
Firebird ball carrier number 24.
I thought Noah would let me know. And we're back here with the final 4.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. We apologize for missing that play. It didn't miss much. About a 5-yard, 6-yard gain up the middle for the Firebirds. We do want to thank all of you for tuning in to this combined Lakota broadcast here. West Broadcasting and East Broadcasting combined to bring you tonight's production. As we'll see Wiles in shotgun here. Takes snap, another handoff, another flag.
Offside.
That will be an automatic first down for the Firebirds on the 5-yard penalty. But as we were saying before, up in the booth here tonight, I'm Nick Johnson. Alongside our two analysts for the West Side, it's Jordan Halkin. From East Broadcasting, it is Colin Kunz. And Colin, this game, we were talking about it all before on that last drive. Another flag. I mean, the game is being played by the refs, it feels like, at this point.
Yeah, probably more penalty yards than actual yards at this point. Just flag after flag. It seems like almost every play at this point.
Here goes Johnson up the middle. Able to stay on his feet, powers through. One of the biggest plays we've seen in this game for a while, dragging the defenders all the way down to the 30-yard line of Thunderhawks territory. West picking up a key first down here and trying to put this one to rest. But the Thunderhawks defense has not been too kind once they've gotten down to this section of the field.
Yeah, Thunderhawks have done a great job making the stops here, only allowing 6 points, or 2 field goals, most recently on those 2 red zone drives. But Thunderhawks there letting up a big run, which was about the first of this game.
Same formation. Wiles fakes the handoff. Quick out to Brennan Remy, staying on his feet through a tackle. And he'll get up just shy of the 20-yard line. They're going to spot him right at that line to gain, and they're going to give him the first down. It looked like from our perspective he might have come up short, but a big first down there for the Firebirds.
Yeah, the offense so far has had a great drive. This is a really balanced drive. They're attacking them through the air and on the ground. They're doing a great job on this drive.
Wiles handoff. Here goes Johnson. Big hole on the left side. Gets tripped up there. He is able to pocket a few out of it.
Braden Johnson again. He's electric. I mean, you're almost guaranteed at least 3-4 yards every time he touches the rock. And you saw it again right there. Stopped by 2 dudes and was still able to inch his way forward to get a couple yards. And again, sets up a third and medium. Playbook is open right here.
4 yards on the carry for Johnson as he stays out here behind Wiles. Remy and Barnett, the 2 receivers wide, 1 to each side. As here goes Wiles towards Remy in the back of the end zone, back shoulder, and he's got it. And there's the signal, touchdown Firebirds, another outstanding snag from Brennan Remy. This one coming in the end zone, Firebirds' first offensive touchdown on tonight's rivalry ball game.
I mean, what can you say? That connection is so good. That was a perfect pass. Remy had him by a step, and Wiles dropped it in the bread basket, and that's 6 right there. I mean, what else can you say, Nick?
Remy's just one of those guys who's an absolute dog. Went up for that one, brought it in, and it was only a matter of time before they got one on top of that Thunderhawk secondary, and couldn't have come at a more opportune time for the Firebirds.
Well, Braden Benner able to boot that one up and good. 20-0 our score here tonight. As we'll take another quick step aside. the remaining moments of this ball game. Still 2:36 to play in the third. Don't leave us. Back after the first offensive touchdown of the night for either side here. 20-0 is Braden Benner ready to boot this one up and away. Firebirds holding strong on defense against a Thunderhawks offense that seems promising, and if you're going to put some points on the board, now would be the time of the night to do it.
Yeah, Thunderhawks need to come out and they need to explode. They need to work quickly now to try to get these scores up on the board if they want a chance at winning this game. Thunderhawks have looked good at times, but other times they just stall out and that ends their drives.
Well, Jamison Kitna so far has shown off the athleticism in this game, both through the air and on the ground, and we'll see him return here. The biggest player on that East offense as far as this game goes, outside of Ryder Hooks, who's been their go-to man on the ground. Takes a snap here, and this one, 2 hooks up the middle, able to find himself a hole there. Works with the room he's got, nearly gets to the 25. He might be at the 25 with forward progress. Actually going to say he reached for the 26. Thunderhawks picking up over half the chains on one carry.
Gotta imagine they're gonna continue to look to Hooks to try to pick up these yards. He's their guy, and this offensive line has definitely been worn down by this tough Firebirds defensive line.
Yeah, this East offense, it's a race against the clock now. I mean, whatever you're gonna do, you gotta work quickly at this point because you need some type of points on the board.
Low snap, Jamison back to throw, fires across the middle, and it will be caught just at the 30-yard line, and they, I believe, yeah, there go the chains. So the first, looks like they were debating where that ball was going to be spotted, but they do finally move them. Thunderhawks move them.
Like you talked about, this is crunch time for the Thunderhawks, and that's a little bit where they struggle. We've seen it a couple of times this year, but they really can't effectively move down the field super quickly.
Kitna stepping up in the pocket there. Big mistake with Eli Davis. Staring down the barrel at Kitna, able to knock him down. Big Firebird sack.
Davis adds to his great game. I mean, he's killing it. I mean, there's nothing much else you could say. He really works the pass rush so well. He was there quickly. He's been there quickly in the backfield. It seems like every time he stepped back to pass, force him out the pocket. And I mean, this is crunch time now for East. You really got to focus up.
There's that Kitna hard count you've been talking about all night, Colin. Nearly gets the Firebirds there.
Yeah, so that shows the discipline for the Firebirds defensive line. Kitna was only able to get him once. He'd have had other teams get it 3 or 4 times by this point.
Kitna fires right side. Great defensive coverage there. There will be a completion there. Yukari Miles trying to lock up Zion Neal, but Neal able to pocket a couple yards out of it.
And like we said, not ideal for these Thunderhawks having to work in crunch time because they like to run plays like that, throw it down, see if they can get anything. If they can't, they're used to having that time to work with, but right now they don't have that barrier.
3rd and 15, final 25 seconds to play in quarter number 3.
I can imagine this will probably be the last play before the third quarter runs out.
Inside 10 to go. Getting to throw, flag on the field.
Maybe a little jumpy on the East side. Again.
And that one isn't really a shocker. This Thunderhawk offensive line has been terrorized by the Firebirds defensive line. So if they can try to get an up on them, that would be beneficial for them. But that one just getting ahead of themselves a little bit and false starting.
And we have the clock running out on the quarter here before the Thunderhawks able to get set. As it stands, the Hawks being held scoreless by this West defense so far. We'll see if that continues. Last year, Thunderhawks taking it down to the final moments to avoid the shutout, having to call a timeout inside the 5-yard line.
I remember that.
They still got a chance, though. Full 12 minutes to play. Anything can happen in high school football, especially a rivalry game. We'll be right back with the final 12 right after this. "12 more minutes to play from Lakota East High School, just a few minutes down the road from the west side. Hawks being held scoreless here. It's a 20-0 ball game. The offense has been rolling, but this defense taking advantage of a few key mistakes as Kitten fires across the middle there, now within 2 yards of that line to gain. I'd have to imagine we're 4-down territory here for the Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely. Kitten isn't afraid to do it midway through the game. He absolutely is going to go for it now late in the game.
Curious to see what they run here. Do they go to their guy hooks on a bubble, or even run up the middle, or you go quick pass?
West showing heavy pressure here. Kitten changing up the play call. Linebackers moving in. They bring the house, and down goes Hooks at the 35 as Bolton runs out onto the field, jumping up and down, pumping those fists. I think he believes that could have been the ball game here for the Firebirds.
There's that double Mike blitz. They sent both inside backers on that one. Micah and Grant got home, and that's all it took right there, and that could very well seal the deal here from Liberty Township.
11 minutes 14 at the start of this West offensive drive. I have to imagine we see a couple of handoffs here run down the clock. Try and keep Kitten and the offense off on these sidelines. Wiles. Shotgun snap, he's back to throw. Has time, drops back, looks for Remy and overthrew him. Nearly could have put us around running clock territory in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, I heard before the game, don't want to spill the beans, but we heard that Bolton's going to be aggressive. He was going to be aggressive this game. He was going to try to light up that scoreboard and put as many points on the board as he possibly can. And showing it right there, Remy had a step on him, but Sam's just been hitting the weights too much. I mean, that ball was a good 5 yards overthrown right there. Nice bit of arm strength right there shown by Sam Wiles.
He's back to throw again. This one a little bit closer pass as he's able to find Giovanni Wilson on that right sideline. Tumbles at the 10. He comes up with the football.
And they're going to mark him down?
They're going to mark him down, but that could have been a big momentum turn right there. I mean, I know you'd be inside the 10 at that point, still down 20 this late. But a turnover like that can really turn the tide of a game.
Firebirds have looked more to pass this drive, and it's been working very effectively. The Thunderhawks have sold out to stop that run all game. Now the Firebirds are changing it up on them here in this fourth quarter.
Wiles with the back to his left, hands it off. Gonzalez up the middle, goes nowhere. He keeps getting shoved back. Forward progress there, not going to have him as far back.
Yeah, if you notice that last play, Giovanni Wilson came off the field. Little hurt, his helmet is off. He's on the sideline now getting treatment. Not too sure what his injury is, but doesn't take away the fact that this offense is really trying to put the ball in the end zone, that's for sure.
It is a goal-to-go situation here. Firebirds lined up on the 7-yard line. Gilbert, the motion man over left, another play action pass. That looked like a handoff. Great fake from Wiles. Spins across the goal line. That might be the nail in the coffin of the Thunderhawks.
Yeah, and just unfortunate that the Thunderhawks have had so many self-inflicted mistakes and just so many stall-outs, and that speaks to the Firebird defense. It's a tough one to compete against.
26-0 our score pre-Braden Benner PAT.
Yeah, and you see that signature Sam Wiles spin move. Seen that a couple times. Breaks it out every once in a while, and it works.
Benner's kick booted up, and it is good. 27-0 as it stands from Liberty Township, a field goal away from a running clock in what was looking like a competitive game beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunderhawks are doing a good job controlling the game. In the first half especially, only allowing 13 points, but you can tell this team is tired, this team is worn down, and they just aren't ready to compete against the Firebirds.
Thunderhawks sideline definitely a little bit more somber after that carry across the goal line. We will see both kicking units out here. You got to wonder what the offense is going to look like with Kitna back out onto the field, now down by an extra touchdown.
At this point, the offense has to work as quick as they can. If they even want a shot, it's a long one at this point, but they really need to move the ball. We've kept saying it, they haven't been doing it. Not sure if anything will change here on this drive.
And at this point, if you're the West Side, I feel like you almost got to hope momentum doesn't change. You can see a bunch of fans in red walking out that exit. Game isn't over in a rivalry game like this. 27-0 doesn't help, as this is going to be Hooks to take it on the 1-yard line. Tries to fight his way up the middle, won't hit the 20.
Ryder Hooks fields the kickoff.
Decent try there by Hooks. We're at the point in the game where he might as well try it, try to get a big run, try to break something through. Not really losing much bringing that one out.
And here we go. We see this East offense coming back out, definitely looking for an air raid attack on this drive. Just want to put some points up there, try to make the game a little bit closer. Definitely will not see them taking time in between plays. They're definitely going to be rushing.
Both teams with 3 timeouts. See when Kitna starts to use them, if he'll use them. Handoff here. Hooks going up the middle, fights to the 25, dives for the 27. Within 2 yards of that first down marker.
Hooks has been their guy, but it's surprising they continue to rely on him so heavily. The Thunderhawks need to look to the air if they want to put some points on the board here.
See him line up here, 2nd and 2, as we are officially under 10 minutes to play. Out of the ball on their own 27. Kitna under center, hands it off. Here goes Hooks again. And he's going to get dropped instantly.
Yeah, and again, like we said, they go back to Hooks there. He didn't pick anything up on that one, and all that's going to happen is the clock's going to run.
Yeah, Colin, they've really leaned on Hooks to make some very important plays, and down the stretch, I mean, they're really leaning on him, and I would expect them to maybe break out a run or two, or excuse me, a big run or two. But yeah, like you said, they probably got to go to the air here. They really want to put some points on the board at this point.
Under 9 minutes officially from the Hawks' nest. Kitna able to find Neal there on the right sideline on the quick dump off to the flat.
Again, another short pass.
Oh boy. Flags are flying.
Now frustration sinks in.
Stop for the Firebirds, number 33, Frank Bierman.
Luckily there, Neal did get pushed out of bounds by the Firebirds defenders, so that clock will stop.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense number 5. 15 yards added to the end of the run.
Yeah, so you called it there, a bit of a late hit from the Firebirds. When I saw it thrown on their sideline, I was thinking maybe some frustration of Firebird getting into a pile on the sideline, but that's just an undisciplined shot on that east sideline for the Firebirds defense.
Yeah, and it really is. It's just unfortunate because the Thunderhawks now pick up some yardage there and might be able to get against this shutout. So another flag's down.
Man.
So it'll be West to pick up the first sideline warning, something we were talking about a little while ago.
Oh boy.
We saw Bolden was fired up after that one. He was angry.
And unsportsmanlike.
Oh, that one's on Bolden.
Bolden with an unsportsmanlike. And the Firebirds continuing to march themselves back at this point.
Yeah, Thunderhawks lucky breaks there. Bolden got a little ahead of himself, screaming at the refs, stomping around over there. Give the Thunderhawks some free yardage.
Now there's definitely some personal reasons going on both sides of the ball. This game's definitely personal to a lot of people.
Kitna able to find Neal to the left side and the flat again. Only a couple on the play.
Neal just really hasn't been able to break out tonight. We've seen that he has had some explosiveness in past games, but tonight he just really hasn't been showing it.
You can see East now trying to move with a little bit more urgency, especially now we're under 8 minutes and counting. Definitely look to go to the air.
Kitna finds Neal again, and Bukhari Miles all over the ball carrier. That's what he does best.
I mean, he definitely watched his film right there. That was a great play, came screaming in. Just completely bypassed the block by the receiver. Made the play. And I mean, that pretty much sums up what this defense has been doing all night. I mean, they've done a great job flying on the ball and making plays. And it's really shut this offense down on through the air and on the ground.
After the loss, it's 3rd and 13. Kitna on the play action, under pressure up the middle, able to fire it right towards that first down marker, up and incomplete right through the hands.
Yeah, McFarland there just couldn't quite bring that one in. Kitna again with a lot of whip on his arm, and again a high ball like we saw earlier with him trying to get it to Neal. Little high, a little fast. McFarland couldn't bring it in.
It is definitely 4 down territory now, 4th and 13.
They've got the punt unit out there, Nick.
I was just going to say, it looks like concession time at this point.
Oh, concession time. What does that mean?
Well, at this point, 7 minutes left if they're not going for it, I think. It's odd to see in a rivalry game a punt like this, but they do seem to be conceding the game.
That one went very high up in the air. Didn't go very far.
Yeah, good hang time. One thing to look for on this next West offensive drive, they're looking to punch the ball into the end zone. They're going to look to go to the air. Bolden's fired up right now. As you can tell, with those 2 penalties that he got, he wants his guys to score. He wants the scoreboard to look a little bit more lopsided. He really likes to run up the score on these personal rivalry games like this.
I'll say, as many flags as we've seen throughout this game, the physicality has not been, I think, what I've expected to see from this game. Not a whole lot of injury, not a whole lot of tough hits, really, from either side. Usually it's these games you worry about injury, and especially this late in the game, it's interesting Bolden not playing into protecting these guys more in a situation like this against East.
Yeah, and we talk about it, obviously it has been a positive with the lack of injuries, and like you said, surprising Bolden's going to continue to try to pound this score in.
And oh my goodness, Barnett coming up with that football. I thought that was either intercepted or batted down. That's why you bring him over from Northern Kentucky. Trey Barnett, probably his first real big reception of the year. Breaking out towards the latter stages of the season.
Yeah, Barnett, not a deep threat at all, but I mean they sent him on the seam right there. Made a great catch, great focus, able to pull that one in. And I mean, this West offense is really looking to score the ball. I mean, they really want to put it on them here.
Same formation with Gilbert. And Gonzalez in motion. Johnson with the handoff, cuts left, trips himself up, but he's going to stay on his feet. Inside the 10, the 5, push for the pylon. And he's got it.
This one is coming back, Nick. There's a flag.
Holding offense number 60.
There's a joy killer.
There it is.
We've been seeing them all night, those crucial holding calls. West playing for the running clock at this point, and that one going to call it all the way back.
Yeah, unfortunate because that was a great run too. Definitely would have been very demoralizing for the Thunderhawks if that one stood, but holding penalty coming from the Firebirds on this one.
Poor Braden Johnson again. Another great run. Gets called back. I mean, he's been a horse tonight. He's really been a train all season. I mean, he's done a great job in the backfield. He's only in certain formations, and you know he's getting the ball, but he still has managed to run through the defense. What he's doing is incredible.
Wilson, the motion man, going behind Wiles out to the right. Wiles will try to fling it over to him, well overthrown on the sideline. Second down.
Like you said earlier, a little too much weight room from him. Saw that again there. Lofted that one up high. Need to dial that one down just a little bit.
I mean, I get throwing on the run is difficult, but that was
Second 20 for
a
the
bit
Firebirds.
high. Just a bit.
I think I got hops. I think I can catch that. I can catch that.
You can get that one. They need
Yeah.
to put you back on the field. Is that what you're saying? We're going to see you in the
Defense.
playoffs.
I'm a defensive player. I am not an offensive player.
Second and 20. West student section still in the game. Pre-snap whistle.
Mental error.
Timeout for equipment.
Oh.
Equipment timeout.
Oh.
One of the things that we really haven't seen as of late
Yeah.
from the west side. I feel like we saw that a little bit more earlier in the season.
Definitely those earlier games. Glad the student section has not left yet.
Yeah, it
They're
looks-
holding strong.
Those red shirts I mentioned seem to be the parents, because I mean that. I think at this point you call it a mosh pit with the energy they
Oh.
have.
Wow.
They're sticking around there, and so is the East student section, really. Wiles throws it over there to the right side, gain of about 4, but they are going to push the pile, and they'll end up getting more, setting up a third and more manageable, but still fairly long.
Yeah, you got to give the Thunderhawks student section a little bit of credit. A lot of them still there, maybe praying for a miracle. But they were really into it before, pregame, getting loud for us, being real excited. Unfortunately, things not quite going their way now, though.
Here come the lights. Oh, and another thing, the lights. The flashing lights when they score a touchdown. We have yet to see that. That's probably what I'm most disappointed about, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, it's really cool to see it. It's really gets it going in here. And unfortunately, we probably won't get to see it because this team just can't find the end zone.
Oh,
And dump off there to Junior Gonzalez
what is?
to no avail.
Wild pass is incomplete. Coming to number 24.
Fourth down up and coming.
Gonzalez.
Clock stops there.
Fourth down, do you keep the offense out there and make a statement? If you keep the offense out here now, I mean, okay, they're not going to do that, but might have had some trouble in the handshake line if he really went for it on fourth down there.
This is Braden Benner.
Whoa!
Oh, my
okay.
goodness.
This is
Oh boy!
this is a shot from the 38-yard line here.
Is that?
This is a 55-yarder.
Oh my!
That's not going to
short.
make it. Returnable. Kick 6 possibility, except he's
Just
in the
kidding.
end zone, so they're going to whistle it dead.
My.
Field goal attempted short.
I wanted to see some Auburn from this East special teams unit.
I mean, that was interesting they even attempted that. I guess give him a shot for it. He wasn't too far off. It was a little short,
He's got a leg on him. Jumping to
he was-
55.
I think he was about 10 yards short.
Props to the coaching staff. I mean, see
Yeah.
what he's able to do. That might come in handy at certain times.
Oh yeah.
We'll see Jamison Kitna back out. Could be the last time of the night. 5:16 remaining. Fires over left side. Caught by Vogelman. Flagged down behind the quarterback, Kitna.
Givers pass completion number 7.
Looks like maybe they're trying to finally get that passing game going. I think it's too little too late for this team, though.
Man, we got to get a penalty count because this is crazy.
77, 10 yards from the previous spot. First down. Keep first down.
You can feel the breeze up here now.
It is getting cold. We are getting to that time of the year. It's starting to get darker earlier.
Oh, no.
Starting to get colder.
Not a big fan.
We're going to be wearing coats on senior night.
Oh, boy.
At this rate. Senior night next week
Oh.
for the Firebirds already coming up on it. Thunderhawks had theirs tonight.
Yikes.
This one ran right side. It's Hooks finding himself some room out of bounds at the 17. Flag there. Bukhari Miles looked like it could be a horse collar the way he brought down Hooks.
Yeah, horse collar or a face mask.
Seems like we're almost averaging 1 or 2 penalties per set of downs.
Will be face mask.
Man,
Number 2.
I'm on it tonight.
15 yards to the run.
Now we joke about getting you on the field in a uniform. How would you feel
Okay.
about the striped shirt?
Okay. What, me as a ref? I
That'd be
mean,
interesting.
that's funny you say that.
Spice things up.
My sports psych teacher is a referee. He's a football referee, high school football referee. Doesn't do any of the GMC games because he's not allowed to, but, you know, just a fun fact. If he's listening, Mr. Brown, quick shout out to him. Great guy.
Hand off here, left side. Hooks on the first down after the face mask. He's got the first. Pushes to the 45. He's moving, albeit a bit little, a bit late, but at least you like to see some life in this Thunderhawks offensive unit.
Yeah, and that was one of those big runs that Hooks does so well. He's able to find some space there, take it straight through the middle, weave over to the left a little bit. A lot of speed, a lot of yards.
Hooks in the backfield once again. Kitna looking over towards his sideline. First and 10 approaching midfield. Handoff. There goes the man of the hour. Hooks again, dives forward. He's able to get a solid 4 on that carry.
Eli Davis coming from across the formation. He was a tackle on the weak side, and he came all the way over to the strong side and made the tackle. Kind of just sums up his night here tonight. He's been an impact player, and he's been an impact player every game. I mean, nothing much else you can say other than he's doing a heck of a job on that D-line.
Inside the final 4, clock continuing to run on these run plays for the Thunderhawks. As we're not going to see a run here, but under pressure from Grant Bierman is Kitna, and now it's Elijah Davis looking to finish it. He won't. Kitna able to dump the ball off, nearly had his man Vogelman at the 48. Will fall to the turf, incomplete.
Bierman almost got home right there. He almost got home. Almost had him. It's not quite.
Kid almost got taken out by his own guy there. He was pretty close to Hooks there. I thought Hooks might have pushed him down almost, but Kid was able to get out, almost got it to Vogelman.
And I think part of the defensive success we've been seeing for these Firebirds, I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to this defensive front. It feels like a lot of broken plays, a lot of pressure from all sides. As Hooks getting smothered at the line on that carry.
Yeah, and there it is right there. That defense just breaking through on that worn-down offensive line. Wasn't as much of a problem earlier, but it's become very pertinent as of late.
And we haven't mentioned their names as much, but Jacob Asbeck and Micah Markley, those linebackers getting in there on a lot of these blitzes. And how many tackles have they had tonight getting in there on a lot of those big plays?
Yeah, I hope the stats man, hope he's awake at this point because he's got a lot to count.
4th and 10. Hawks staying out here. Interesting call after punting on the last drive. Inside 3 minutes. Handoff here. Hooks spins through. Met by too many Firebirds to stay on his feet. Turnover on downs.
It's just not going to do it. Surprising they continue to go with Hooks after the Firebirds have stopped him pretty effectively. Hooks trying to pick up 10 yards there, but that's just a lot of yards to pick up for him.
Yeah, if you notice, if you have eagle eyes like myself, the 2 offensive line is out there, meaning the 2s are starting to trickle out on this last drive here. So we'll get to see some new faces, some new names, put in the work.
And I got to wonder, obviously, it's safe to say that this game is put to bed. 2:42 on the game clock here, 27-0 ball game. But you got to wonder if Bolden playing for this running clock is Cordell Atkins just powering up the middle. He's a name we called at the end of the Oak Hills game last week. A lot of big carries, picked up 2 garbage time touchdowns, which, albeit they're garbage time, but the way he's running, you would think that guy deserves to be on the first team every week.
Yeah, he's a guy that him and Davion McCoy, I mean, in the backfield, there was just too many athletic dudes in the backfield. I mean, you had Junior, you had Braden Johnson who's having a breakout year, you had him, and then you had Davion McCoy. So, I mean, it's tough to get all these guys minutes, and there's only so many formations you can run in with all these dudes in the backfield.
Another name we called last week, Tyson Davis, able to spin up past the 25, gets to the 24.
Ball carrier.
Bolden still keeping things dialed up. He's trying to say something without actually saying something.
Of course, it is high school football. You are going to have these rivalry games where you just really want to stick it to, whoever your big rival is, in this case, obviously East-West. But I will say I am still a little surprised he hasn't gone a little more conservative. But we do see Nolan Parker in at quarterback for the Firebirds. No Jackson Smith tonight. Undoubtedly, we will see him JV tomorrow morning. But the way he's been playing on JV, it's good to get that experience under his belt. And soon enough, I think we'll see him back on the varsity field.
Yeah, I wish we were broadcasting tomorrow morning. That would be nice, Nick. Maybe I could get some play-by-play calls, I mean, it's kind of looking forward to it,
Yeah, unfortunately, broadcast tomorrow canceled due to crew issues, but I promise you we will be back for Hamilton.
No,
I can't wait to hear Halkin Reams back in the box.
Oh, no.
Here goes Davis again. He's got the first with room inside the 10. Walk-in score.
And that one's really sticking it to him there. There goes Davis into the end zone.
Running clock officially now. It stops on 1 minute. But once we get going, 60 nonstop seconds to finish out this game.
Are permitted on the field at any time.
All around, great job by this offense. Had a little bit of struggles earlier in the game, but they turned it on and have looked really, really nice. Even though they haven't put up as many points as some expected. They still had a great game. They're putting together great drives, and that's all you can ask of them from a West Side perspective.
And we are going to thank you guys one more time as we enter our final minute here from Lakota West Student Broadcasting. But tonight is Lakota Broadcasting, as once again we can't thank Colin and his crew at Lakota East Student Broadcasting enough. Thanks for joining us up in the box. And one more time, do you want to tell the people where they can find you and go show you the love that you guys deserve over there on the east side?
Yes, of course. Lakota East Broadcasting. Just type us in. We'll come right up. We'd be happy to have the support, continuing to move things along, get our program established. We've done some great things here tonight. Unfortunately, not a great outcome for the Thunderhawks, but super fun night. I've had a ton of fun here.
Calling football is what matters. This is the fun thing to do, win or lose. It's fun up here to be able to put on the headset and just be able to talk about high school football. Obviously, I mean, we know these guys were students, so we have personal connections to them. Just, the sport is, in and of itself, it's great for the high school community, and Lakota tonight especially, I think, has shown that in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. The support for this game from both sides has just been incredible. And like you said, it's fun to just be up here, no matter the outcome, just call these games and give back to our community.
Clock stops on 48 seconds on that kickoff. Once we get a snap, it will not stop.
It's really overall not a great night for the Thunderhawks. Really, a lot of things we talked about pregame, they just haven't been able to implement, and I think that goes to the Firebird defense, which is just so strong.
31 seconds remain. Getting under center here, pre-snap flag. I thought we were done with those, but fitting way to end the game.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say. Seems like a pretty good end to this game. This clock will probably go out.
Clock's still running on a flag. I was going to say, I think we did just end on a penalty.
Defense 35.
Yeah, that's going to do it.
So nearly 2 years in a row of shutout football for the Firebirds at Lakota East. Of course, last year they did get across the goal line in the final moments, but as a handshake line forms here, 34-0 our score. As we wrap up this combined broadcast, once again, thank you to Colin and all those involved on the east side getting the pregame set up. It was fantastic. Loved having you up here on the booth. For the west side, I'm Nick Johnson alongside Jordan Hauk with us every week. As we mentioned, no JV tomorrow morning. We will be back. And Colin, what does East Broadcasting have coming up?
East Broadcasting next week will be at home here in the Hawks Nest against Oak Hills. Ready to cover that game, excited, and potential plans to travel to Mason for our final game after that.
It will be a fun season for both of these teams to see how it plays out. East, I'm telling you, I don't think we said it enough in the pregame. On paper, this team has something special. It takes one moment to get it to click. I think we're getting close. But until then, we will see you guys on both the west and the east side. But until then, as always, go Thunderhawks and Firebirds.